I don't know. What do you think? uh, are we gonna get to? Wait, do I have the chat on? I don't have the chat on. There's the chat. Hi. Are we going to see the requisite? I based this game on my high school because it was just a way to mess around and try to learn the interface thing. I don't recall how my high school even looked, so I guess the answer is going to be no. Kind of wish I did still have it. The files. Like, did you make like Duke Nukem 3D levels of your high school, or like Doom levels, like what people used to do? I don't think anyone ever. No, text adventure. Like a text adventure of. See, I couldn't tell you how, the geography of my high school looked like if you held a gun to my head. There's like little, like, rooms off of certain places that I have no idea how they connect to a bigger, like, I've never attended a high school reunion ever, and I don't think I will. Vise drengs på nye eventyr. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of disappointment. Someone on Blue Sky was asking, did you use the key under the door newspaper kind of thing? Are we gonna see that? And I was like, no, I already used that in the finished game. The All Demons Must Go to Hell game starts out with that puzzle. If you fail it, you're soft locked. A noose drops from the ceiling. Kind of macabre. And what was the other one? Tim, the developer of Cantaloupe Chronicles, was like, is there going to be was there a driving minigame in one of them? Because Tim did the absolute mad person. Maybe we should even start by showing that. So this is not one of my games. Do I have it somewhere? So Tim did this fucking weird thing where he made a version of Police Quest 3 that's nothing but the driving. Like, wait, do I have it? I don't think I do. I must have downloaded it somewhere, but I don't know where I would have put it. Let me just give you a moment, see if I can find it. So this is my Police Quest folder. There's Police Quest 3, Police Quest Amiga. No, I don't have it. Sliding tiles. Also put that in All Demons Must Go to Hell. The sliding tile puzzle to end all sliding tile puzzles. Honestly, it became sort of infamous for anyone who actually played the damn thing. And mazes, also in All Demons Must Go to Hell. Basically, All Demons Must Go to Hell had all the things that I hate about adventure games. It had mazes, it had a sliding tile puzzle, it had the key and newspaper trick in it, it had a roaming monster that chases you around the maze, it had timer sequences, it had soft locks. What else did it have? It didn't really have a logic puzzle as such, because we didn't really have time for it, unless you count a sliding tile puzzle as a logic puzzle. I suppose you could. And the sequel needs horrible exit hotspots. Well, we had plenty of those too, but those weren't intentional. The adventure game fandom is full of people who want to make games and can program but can't draw. That would be me. And people who want to make games who can draw but can't get their heads around programming. Fun fact, Blue Force greatly improves a person's morale. We'll get there. I have it right here. I also swallowed something. What the fuck was that? I don't know, but it's black and I want it out of my body. Alright, so I can't find the Police Quest driving thing. This is not what the stream was supposed to be about anyway. Oh, cheers, man. Thanks. Thank you. What's used for weed? Smoke weed, bro. What do you use for smoke weed, bro? Most people use a bong, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Lars is waiting in a call queue. Oh, my fucking... My sincere... I was going to say apologies. It's not my fault. My sincere condolences, I suppose. All right, so anyway, so I had a whole list of games that I wanted to show. So as you can see, I got it. This is just my games folder, my proper games folder. It is full of weird shit. It's got an awful lot of Space Quest. And some of these are weirder than others. One of them we will get to, Space Quest 1, as God intended. I'm saving the Space Quest fan games that I've started and never finished. I'm saving those for a little later. So just so, you know, maybe people will join and just so I can tease. So people will join, like, it's just, oh, no, stick around. He's going to get to the Space Quest fan games in a moment. Clean cut. Oh, I got a haircut. I actually don't like having long hair. I don't know. The only reason I didn't cut my hair is because we had the Era 47 gig in Portland last year, and I was getting to the point, because I have a haircut like once a year or something. I was getting to the point where, like, yeah, it's starting to get a bit annoying. But on the other hand, I'm going to Portland. I'm going to be playing a gig. Who wants to look at a drummer with short hair? So I just kept it, and then I sort of forgot about it, and then it got really long. And has Escarade's ever sported a beard? Yes, but only because my shaver broke, and I don't like it. I don't like facial hair. Fair play to anyone who does. I'm just, I don't, just body hair in general. Not a big fan. just I want to be smooth. Like, I was going to say Patrick Stewart. He's not. Where is this? We're off to a good start, aren't we? Yo, this creates what got taken by rednecks. Well, he did, in more ways than one. Haircut is nifty. It's just short hair. Like, it's. I think it's the headphones. They're doing something weird to it. I mean, it's just short hair. Oh, fuck. Dandruff everywhere. Time to shave the eyebrows. See, I would. If it wasn't a major hassle, if shit didn't grow back, cue the first game. I probably should. You're right. All right, so the first game is going to be not as visually exciting. We're going to start us off light, but this one was fun, and as will be a recurring theme throughout the stream is, I wish I had gone back and finished it. Smooth. Oh, David, as a fellow Star Trek fan, smooth like an android's bottom. It's like the only good line in an otherwise terrible Star Trek movie. Smooth as an android's bottom. So, first game on the list, The Haunted 386, working title. This one was, I don't know, I don't know what it was inspired about, but it is supposed to be a compilation error. What the fuck? 170. So there's going to be, some of these are broken, honestly. So I'm gonna fix this while I chat about what it was. So it was supposed to be a text adventure, but it was supposed to be framed as someone found an old 386 DOS machine in a landfill or at a thrift store or something, and then took it home, plugged it in, and what they found was a mostly formatted 386 with a single text adventure on it, and that text adventure would seem innocuous at first, but then the more you play it, the more it starts fucking with reality outside. So it starts putting text files in other folders on the 386. At some points, you know, characters from the little text adventure starts bleeding out into the 386, and then eventually they start talking to you. We're going to have FMV clips of ghosts floating around the DOS prompt and shit like that. Never got that far. But someone who's failed to make minigames in AGS, I also offer condolences. Oh, cheers. So let's fix this. It popped up an error. Let's see, line 178. Oh, there's a wayward parentheses. And we got another one. Oh, again, wayward parentheses. And again, what the fuck am I doing here? How drunk was I when I did this? Oh, it's all this shit. All of these are wayward. I must have... I don't know. This must have been some copy and paste job that went very wrong. I think that was it. I think that's it. Let's give that a try. Nope. 252. So I must have like quickly entered a bunch of. So I had like a minute or something, and I entered a bunch. Oh, this one has sound. So a lot of these don't have sound. I'm gonna move this out of the way of the chat, so maybe you can see. I'm gonna run these in window. No, actually, no. Do you know what? No, if I run this in full screen, you can't see the fucking DOS prompt. So let's see here. So a couple of Easter eggs here. Of course, I couldn't like do MS DOS, so I did Uno DOS because okay. So big shout out to Brandon Bloom, by the way, musically inspired, because he helped me put together this fake DOS prompt thing. So the really tricky part about this was how do you make a DOS prompt in AGS? So you can't clear screen. There's a lot of things you can't do, really. You can type welcome.txt. It has a little welcome text from whoever left the computer. Hey, Jim, you've got your own computer. You can buy me a beer at the watering den. Who the fuck calls it a watering den? What's wrong with me? Everything should be set up to go. Just bring a floppy disk to work and have them put your work applications to blah. Stay away from the DOS folder. If you mess with that shit, will break. This is like what people would tell people who got their first DOS computer back in like 1988, 1989, stuff like that. And lastly, he says, I put one of my favorite games in the games folder, one for the late nights. Don't be spooked. I don't need a crybaby on the phone, especially not after 6 p.m. Blah. So this guy, Rob, gave Jim a computer, and let's see here. So he's got a docs folder. There's nothing in it. So he's got utilities folder. There's nothing in it. So this whole thing about the DOS prompt actually like moving the lines up the screen like scrolls. This is not something AGS was built to do. So Brandon Bloom actually, he's the one who coded up this script template for me to use. Sometimes it does weird things, like when you input something, sometimes it puts a double space and sometimes it doesn't. But that's because basically it's just redrawing. Every time I do this, it redraws the screen one line at a time. And it actually does it really, really fast. I put in like a delay to emulate like how slow a 386 computer would be. And I probably didn't input as many because of course all of this is manual. You're not actually looking at a real DOS prompt, obviously. So all of these directories and all this shit was put in menu. So I don't think if I type autoexec if I didn't input what that response would be, it doesn't. It does. It actually has a response. And if I type in format, insufficient parameters, if I try to type in format C, I'm pretty sure if I press Y now, it'll say, yeah, can't do, access denied. Okay, thank fucking Christ. All right, so let's get into the mansion game. So the whole point is no introduction really other than the welcome. And then as a user, you start poking around this little 386. If you know how DOS works, you just poke around like you would. There's a mention, what's in the README file? Can't remember. Oh, the spookiest adventure game you'll ever play. And it's just a little tutorial. Remember, it's just a game, or is it? So we boot this thing up. And then we get into the actual text adventure. And this part I designed, and I was like, how do you make a convincing text adventure in AGS? Because again, you can't do the scrolling up of text. Like if you have a text window in AGS, you can't tell it to scroll up every time there's a new line. You have to do some weird shit. So I was like, I can't do like an Infocom style adventure game window where every time you type something new, well, the screen just scrolls up. So my idea was to split the text adventure into different windows. So you have a location description and an action description, and then you have an actual parser here. So every time you do something like look bush, you get a fucking error. because supplied igniter. Igniter? But I didn't type in ignite. Maybe I... Oh, well. Let's go into parser and just add... let's see. What would you have? All right, I'll just add new word. Igniter. Did I? So that's the thing, right? AGS is really bad with this parser stuff. Like, you really have to hunt and peg. Like, did I have a something called a lighter or an igniter or whatever? Look, igniter. Guess not. Oh, let's do that again. I did input it so you can do like this, like with slashes. Let's try that again. Like I said, a bunch of these games are going to have weird errors in it. We're going to have to go in and fix stuff. Because like I said, they're abandoned games or like in development games that never got anywhere. So if I look push, there we go. So the actions window is where the game responses are. And the location window is where, you know, the general location description is. And the solution here is, well... It's a haunted mansion thing, but glad you're doing dev again. This is more like it's more like a graveyard of dev, to be honest. So anyway, the point is we're in the cobblestone driveway. We're standing on a path with the mansion in front of us, and our lantern. We have a lantern. It is out of fuel ages ago and is currently unlit. There's an inventory. That just describes everything you're carrying. You're carrying a lantern. Open the lantern. There's no fuel inside and the igniter is dead. So if you look at the bush, you've got a host of fireflies. What you do is you capture the fireflies in the lantern because... Oh, capture fireflies with lantern? Oh, that's how you do. I didn't know I was that clever. Which is a terrible adventure game puzzle. But anyway, now we can move north. So we have a little compass in the top right corner. Fuck that thing. Since there's no mouse, so I can't point. Every time I move the mouse inside the game window, the mouse disappears for reasons. You just don't want mouse in a text adventure. Anyway, you got a compass in the top right corner, which glows. The end is glowing because we can go north. So now we're standing on the doorstep. So every room in the game is... I think the entire text adventure here is a single room. Yeah, mansion.exe is just a single room that looks like this. Oh, and there's you see some glitching on here. That's because there's like one instance in the game. Maybe, can I get that far? We'll see. Okay, we're standing in front of the mansion. We can't open the door because it's locked. It appears to be locked. There's something about the statues here. Model statues. You're supposed to look at one of them. It's been ages since I've fucked around with this. Look, left statue, I think. Left statue is more weather one is numerous cracks. Hey, there's the key. Get key. And then unlock door. Unlock door with key. All right. I'm just going to minimize this so we can actually concentrate on what we're looking at. The door is now unlocked. Hooray. Open door. And north. Now we're standing in the front hall of the mansion. Your lantern barely illuminates the spacious hallway. A heavy wooden staircase ahead of you leads up to a landing with a balcony and further up into darkness. There's a small end table beside the staircase, which has nothing on it. So this engine doesn't have built-in item descriptions. Doesn't it? What do you mean with item description? So let's see. Inventory. I'm carrying a large brass key. Look, key. Large brass key opens the front door of the house. It does, technically. And look, lantern. You wonder how long the little guys are going to last in there because it's running on fireflies. Standard like adventure game nonsense. Okay, so I want to get to the cool bit because basically the entire adventure game was going to be run around, explore the haunted mansion, eventually ghosts start talking to you, and you solve some puzzles, but I never actually got around to putting any real puzzles in the game. There's a safe in the puzzle, and if I go west or north or up the stairs or anywhere, nothing will happen. So let's go east, which I believe, yeah, spacious sitting room. As in not needing to manually do if parser look item. See, I'm not a very good programmer. I believe all the inventory items are actually inventory items in AGS. So we go in here. Yeah. All the, could you not? All the inventory items, I don't know if you can see that. Inventory items up here, they are actual inventory items. So when I type inv or inventory in the game, it actually displays the inventory items that the character has. So looking at, let's see here. Oh no, so actually looking at the inventory items is custom script. This is the fucking all that's in room 2 in the room script is, do you know what? Go check the main script or something. And there's a little word here that says glitch the fuck out. Don't worry, we'll get to that. But yeah, everything that happens in the text adventure, including all the all the responses and shit, is all in this massive script file. And I would assume, oh, there's a teleport. I forgot we have debug. Anyway, fuck it. Let's get on with it. I hope this works. Sorry, but yeah, this is just one massive script file, which keeps track of what room you're in and what items you've done, or what you've done, and so forth. Again, not a programmer. Anyway, spacious sitting room, large heavy bookshelves, heavy carpeting. We're supposed to go door to the north. That's where we're going. This appears to be a small but fancy office. Large mahogany desk, So we've got a nice office. We've got a portrait hanging on the wall, which is the important bit. So, look, portrait. It's a large portrait. Like, best guess as to what's behind the portrait, right? Remember, we're talking cliches. We're talking old text adventure cliches, or just adventure game cliches. Of course, there's a safe behind the fucking painting. It's a large, even with the scratch and dust and blood, that's a sense of dread. Ooh. See, I tried to be as overwrought with the dialogue as possible. Maybe a bit too much, actually. So, can I take picture? Your access do I move picture? Yes, you move the heavy portrait from the wall and uncover a steel safe behind it. As you set the portrait down on the floor. Right, are you paying attention, kids? You hear a strange sound coming from the sitting room. It sounds like something heavy scraping along the floor. The sound lasts only for a brief few seconds, then the house goes silent again. Ooh. Okay, what happens if I listen? You strain your ears but can hear no other sound coming from this room or the next. And yes, I did manage to, if you do this before you take the painting off, he goes, what are you listening for, bloody? Like, now. And the safe combination is another thing. So there's 2 exciting things actually happening right now. I hope you're paying attention. It's like, there's 29 people at the edge of their seat right now. Probably not. The steel safe, what is the hint for the combination? The thing is, there is no hint for the combination inside the game. When you've actually looked at the safe, it puts a text file in the directory, in the DOS directory, from one of the mansion inhabitants. They start leaving text files in the actual, on the actual computer that you're running this on. Because they're real ghosts. They want to escape the game. They're real ghosts. Boo. So anyway, big noise from the room. Oh, I wonder what that could be all about. Oh, you cautiously step back into the sitting room. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary. Suddenly, the computer stops humming. Suddenly, I should have kept the sound effect of the computer running. But anyway. Suddenly, the door to the office slams behind you. You then notice all the chairs in the room have been spun around to face the door you just came from. The door leading back into the hallway is closed. A faint shadow leans against the wall. Hey, what? Shadow? Really? You can't be serious. A faint child-sized shadow is standing next to the hallway, almost entirely obscured by shadow. It appears to be whispering something. I'll say, that's fucking loud. And either we can try and leave. The door to the office is... All right, I don't know what that was. All right, talk to Shadow. The figure doesn't seem to be listening to you. It just keeps repeating the same word over and over again. All right, listen to Shadow. That was fun. That was my son voicing the ghost. Shadow obscured by shadow. Was that it? Oh, that's, primo text adventure writing. So now when you go into the directory, what is it? Readme.txt, something changes once you see the ghost. Oh yeah, this is one of those things it does, the DOS prompt thing. Sometimes it forgets to put in a blank line. I don't know the fuck. But I believe it's, at least it was supposed to. What is it, docs? Oh, maybe I didn't investigate the safe enough. So it puts a text file in that says, oh, this the safe combination is this and this. And if you go back into the mention game, you're still where you left off. You strain your ears, but you can barely make out what is being said. It sounds like heave or weave. Okay. I think the game's broken now, actually. Yeah. So I was just I was testing this bit with the glitch and all that shit, and when you go in, it's supposed to do something, but the game does indeed take advantage of extended memory. Yes. I think the game is broken now. I think it forgets where in the world I am. So did I have I believe I had a debug command. I can't remember how to activate the debug command. Let's see here. Should be down here. Oh, this is... if you try to save your game before you meet the ghost, it just says insufficient disk space. If you have talked to the ghost, it says something like, you don't need to save your game. I know where you are now, etc., etc. But I think it's broken now. I think it forgot to set a flag. Oh, Pump Shark is... Of course it is. Of course it's Pump Shark. Debug mode enabled. So let's go to room number 4. Oh, that's the kitchen. I want to go there. Let's go into the front hall. Let's go into the sitting room. So... Question is, has it forgotten that I put the painting down? No, it's still resting against the wall. Look safe, open safe, combination dial, turn dial. All right, let's go back south. Are we still... Nope, ghost went away. The shadow is going to heave. It's a ghost of a frat guy who passed. No, it was a child ghost. It was very explicitly a child-sized ghost. Very pequeño. Yeah, but I think the game is broken. But anyway, you get the idea. Never really got any further than this, honestly. That's it. That was the Haunted 386. And then if you type, I think it's quit. Go back to the DOS prompt. And that is, whoa! So you are supposed to be able to do that, aren't you? Ooh. Oh well, it is haunted, so so why not? I'm a little disappointed I can't show you the part where it leaves a text file in the DOS prompt that tells you what the combination to the safe is, and then you open the safe and stuff happens. The hard drive spinning up. Yeah, I was really proud of the sound effects. Most of these games are not going to have any sound effects, so there's that. Anyway, that was the mansion game. Do you want to save the game? Yeah, why not? I just saw I had a variable that says ghost says get the fuck out equals true. I like a good variable. I like a good variable name. Okay, that was one. It's not a child ghost, it's a guy with dwarfism. So the idea was funny, but the idea was you had some ghosts in the mansion who wanted to escape the game for reasons. Maybe one of those contrived, like, I know I'm in a computer, but I want to live kind of thing. Or they were real ghosts, and the computer was at the mansion where they died, and someone made an adventure game that's also like the mansion. Like whoever bought the computer bought it at a yard sale, and from that mansion where everyone died, and all the ghosts apparently got trapped inside the computer. And I never really got far enough to work this shit out. But anyway, the point was, some ghosts want to leave, other ghosts want to keep them here. So the child ghost we met is trying to get you to not play the game anymore. That's why it says get out, and booted you off into the DOS prompt. And then you'd have some other ghosts who were like, shut the fuck up, kid, and try to coax you into playing more. And was the child ghost named Tad? Absolutely fucking not. All right, so next game. Let's see. This was one I was working on for quite a long time, actually. This was one I was working on when I thought I might give game dev like a proper shot. A mention with the computer seems anachronistic. Oh, this I'm not even sure, because I never got far enough into it to actually like write a plot or anything. I just wanted to see if I could do it, like the whole DOS prompt thing. There's a lot of artifacting around me, isn't there? There's ghosts in here as well. I don't have a green screen behind me. It's NVIDIA's green screenery thing, and it seems to be having some issues today. Can I just turn on the regular? I had like a window of me inside the the SQ6 window. Maybe I could do that. Yes, I've made my computer haunted by running this game. Shit. Did I delete those in a fit of hubris? I might have. Let's see, image, stream background. Yeah, I think I did. Oh well. Get a green chair. You're just gonna have to live with this. Yeah. Well, you'll be fine. It's like the ring in here. Well, let's see if we can fix that real quick, shall we? So let's see. There's an image. Let's see here. Where the hell was that? Oh, now I can't find it. Now we can't make it pretty. Oh well. What we can do is give NVIDIA Broadcast the finger and see if I can do like this. There we go. I mean, that's less obnoxious, maybe. Now I'm covering up some of the screen, but I suppose you'll manage. At least there's no more like distracting. If you're doing a haunted dust prompt, you should do one of those terminate stay resident style jokes where the characters fall from the screen. Oh yeah. Oh, I remember those. Those were fun. Yeah, those were great fun. Yeah, I was gonna do all sorts of weird shit. I was gonna do like at some point when shit starts getting real weird, I was gonna have it was gonna boot you back to the DOS prompt again, but this time there'd be these little glitches happening in the background of the DOS prompt, and every once in a while, like a phase would just sort of come out and then recede back into the DOS prompt, and I just realized I did that the opposite way around. Like it would come out and then recede again. So I was doing it against my face, like. Anyway, you get it. And it's stuff like, and eventually, the DOS prompt would completely melt, and these glitchy ghosts would start talking to you, like really voiced and stuff like that. I had tons of ideas. All right, next game is Jeff Stark PI. This one I had a lot of fun playing around with. This was my first attempt at doing an actual game, like a proper game. I had an idea that this might actually turn into some sort of commercial game, which is very presumptuous of me. I would say this is not good. This is not. It is by no means anywhere near any sort of commercial grade. I did try my absolute best with the graphics, but as you can see, graphics is not my strong suit, which is a problem. But I had some really strange ideas with this game. The primary the primary weird mechanic of this was that it was going to have a mood and a stress meter. So our protagonist here, as you can see, he's smiling right now. Jeff here, he's smiling right now. His arm is bending in a weird angle, but yeah, he's smiling. Did I ever play Virus? No, sorry. That thing that showed you your PNGs and your like when you're it's a 3D descent type game where you're actually flying through your computer and you can shoot all your processes and shit like that. Yeah, I remember that. I didn't actually play it, but I remember that. I also remember someone did a for Linux, they did a Doom. Like you play Doom, but all the monsters are processes in your computer. So if you start shooting the wrong processes, you actually kill the processes in your machine. So if you start blasting away at like the kernel, you actually crash your computer and stuff like that. And yeah, so anyway, back to this game. It was supposed to have a mood meter and a stress meter. And when you do stuff that makes our dude feel stressed, his mood will go down, and eventually, if his mood goes all the way down to, I think it's like 10 or 5 or something, he will just be completely unable to do anything, and you have to go to the couch and rest. Except you don't need to rest right now because we're just starting the game. Like walk cycles, like graphic design really is my passion. Also, the interface is something else. See, I thought I was being clever with this whole. So, okay, I should probably explain the UI, because it's a lot to look at, and it honestly was a big mistake in a way. The idea was, I don't know if you can see that, there's a little eye icon right there, and there's a little hand icon there. So the idea was you had look, use, talk, and I can't remember what the last one is. Open, yeah. Look, use, talk, and open. So these verbs are organized depending on like what category they belong to. The trouble is no one can actually see the fucking icons. So it just looks like all of these verbs are just sort of scattered everywhere. Oh yeah, the stress and mood thing was very relatable to me as well at the time I was making this. I think there's hotkeys for lowering his mood. Yeah. Okay, so I'm lowering his mood right now. I'm pressing Z to lower his mood. And when it gets really bad, he just refuses to do anything, as far as I remember. But this is the intro, so the mood meter actually does nothing. It doesn't do anything until we get to the actual meat of the game. Because the whole point of the intro is you're in his apartment. You just woke up. You just had your morning piss, and now you have to make coffee. And the whole point of the intro is you start off with like 100% mood. And by the time you're done with the intro, you are down to like 10% mood. So you just start off having the worst day ever. And also you hallucinate, shit like that. So let's get into that. You cannot interact with anything unless you do the whole coffee thing. So let's do the whole coffee thing. Make coffee. Let's see, cup. Oh, and you got a narrator as well. Glance around your tiny kitchen area looking for a suitable container to put your coffee in. After your third scan of the area, you're forced to admit there is none available. Well, that is just typical, isn't it? Our mood went down 10%. I'm sure there's a cup around here somewhere. What else do we need? Coffee would be a start. Where did I put the jar? Another scrutinous glance across your kitchen reveals to your alarm that your jar of instant coffee seems to have gone AWOL. Oh dear, where could that have gone to? Well, at least you have everything else you need, right? Well, milk, there should be some in the fridge, and a spoon to stir the coffee with. Spoon. Another unnecessary one, so if your kitchen area shows no sign of a spoon either, that figures. Well, time to put those investigative skills to use, because apparently we're PI. My mood went up for some reason. Not sure why, but anyway, his facial expression changed. All right, let's start with the fridge. Open that. This one has no sound whatsoever. All right, get milk. Your fridge contains various food items that are all inching precariously close to their expiration date. Unfortunately, none of those items resemble milk. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, there's a swear on and off setting in the game. By the way, anyway, no milk. Mood goes down 10%. I can't remember if I actually put the hotkey in. There's S S increases stress and A decreases stress. And you can see it's bouncing around down there. So again, this does nothing at the moment, but you know, because it's stress. If I increase that, it says mid, high, and at some point it just boils over. I think if I push it all the way up, no, that's as far as it'll go. So nothing in fridge. The mood keeps going down every time he looks in the fridge. Okay, so table. Let's search the table. There is a spoon that is not completely caked in filth and culinary remnants. Somehow my mood went down. Oh, that's another thing. The mood actually fluctuates as you're playing. So sometimes it goes down a bit and goes up a bit. So you're never like at 0%. The idea was when you get down to like 5%, it will it'll just keep you at 5%. You'll never hit 0. You'll never like completely bomb out. It will like slowly increase your mood the more you just idle, really. But if there's a totally unnecessary time control mechanic to discover where the cup of coffee and spoon had gone to, that would be fun. But this is the intro. I mean, I wasn't gonna completely overwhelm the player right from the intro. Or was I? Anyway, so this might be a good time to introduce the inventory. Did I not take the spoon? Oh, you're supposed to get spoon. Okay. So here we have the inventory. Now, I was quite proud of this because it took fucking forever to put together. So you got your inventory and you got drop-down menus for the different items. There is no spoon. Oh, wait, there's one right there in your pocket. Oh, fuck, that is terrible. That is a temporary line, I'm sorry. So, and so when you click use, it turns into an actual inventory item. And depending on, you know, how many things you can fucking, could you knock it off? Depending on you know, I think of when we pick up the coffee, there's like several things you can look, you can smell, you can so the drop down becomes more populated. What else? You got your spoon, got your coffee. There's a cup right there. Let's get that. This thing is filthy, so we have to go and wash it. That's in le bathroom. Yep, in you go, Sonny. And you can do all sorts of weird shit in here. But rinse cup is what we want. And take a shit. You don't need to do any sit-down business right now. And how do you leave? Oh, you have to click on it to leave for some reason. Because I'm a good programmer. And so that's your cup. Look at that. Freshly rinsed and ready to go. And someone asked if we had any logic puzzles in the game, in the games I was going to show. And yes, we do. Right here. What's this? It is coffee. It's all the way back there. So this is your requisite logic puzzle. It's not really that difficult. All you do is you move stuff back and forth. You can't move the clock because that's plugged in with a cord. So you have to move everything else around. So you can move one thing and you can put stuff back, but you can only have one thing like in the waiting position kind of thing, which is just why. But so as you can probably imagine, this took quite a while to program as well. So now I can't put the water bottle back because you have to be able to put it in the top shelf, and you can't move the binders here in the back. So you have to somehow get the coffee out. Now I can't remember exactly how to fucking finish this. I think you take the plant out, you move this thing, and the flashlight goes there, this one goes there. Now the coffee can go out. Now you go like this. Coffee goes there, water bottle goes there. Put this thing back, goes like that. And it's just everyone's move everything basically like that. And we just move all of this one more time. I think I had this down to like 3 moves or something, 3 or 4 moves, but anyway, here we go, coffee. Yes, this guy really likes snow globes. That was way more trouble. Let's see if it was worth it. Coffee is always worth it. All right, our mood is down to 55. Everything's going great. Oh yeah, the coffee, you can smell that. It smells like coffee, fucking duh. I swear there's a hotkey somewhere for turning swearing on and off. But, all right, so now I believe we can finally make coffee. I guess not. Use coffee on stove. Maybe I broke something. Do I use this on coffee? Can't remember. Again, as you know, come on, do the thing. Oh! Oh, this probably like, this was a dev thing, probably. So here's a cutscene of what happens after you make coffee. This probably should have had sound effects at some point, but, alright. What the hell is that? And then bits of your apartment goes missing. That was a fun animation, isn't it? Again, graphics is not my strong suit. And this guy starts berating you. And you got sort of a Tex Murphy-ish kind of response thing here. Now, I think I only coded in one that actually works. Blah, blah, blah. Recommend archival of opinion in rectal cavity. Why don't you shove it up your ass? And oh shit, there was an error there. I hope no one saw that. I guess. And I think that's it. I'll go to sleep. All right, so the game is broken here from now on. Oh, hey, look at that! I can trigger it again. Can I? Oh no, that's just blinking animation. Oh, whenever he blinks, yeah. Didn't quite get rid of that, did I? So yeah, game's broken from now on. Oh shit, I can even open the door from miles away. It's like a Tex Murphy game. Oh shit, I'm even in here. Okay, well, the game's broken now. So anyway, I had fun with the apartment thing. That was fun. And the shelf of hate. The shelf took fucking ages to code up, and the puzzle is terrible. It's just not a good puzzle. So yeah, you shit the bed, game over. And I had an idea for I was going to test scrolling in the game, because scrolling was going to be the sort of Space Quest 4 type of things. It's not going to follow the player around. It's going to, you can probably see that from this screen actually. So you enter through the door over here, and then you have this part. If you disregard the left side, the right side part is what you see, and then if you go across the room, it should just scroll like that. I wonder what happens if I start our main character in this room at 684,184. 684,184. 684,184. Let's start him in the flower shop. 684,184. Let's just remember not to save the game. Okay, here we are. And there's supposed to be someone you can talk to. Now, I had to redraw the sprite for this size because I'm an idiot. But yeah, so going over here, you hit a, see, there you go. So you have that kind of scrolling. That was the type of scrolling I was going to. So I had this this huge test scroll area. Look, if there's just one thing I'm really, really bad at, it's perspective. Like, I really don't do perspective very well, as you can probably tell. But yeah. So that was the thing. That's as far as I got with this one. Oh, here we go. You can actually have swearing on and off. I completely forgot I had a what's it called? an options menu here, but now I can't get rid of it. So hooray. All right, so that was Jeff Stark. That was fun. Let's not save that one. All right, so moving into... So this game was from 2024. 2023. No, wait. Let's see. When is the earliest... 2024 is probably when the game started. Yeah. Yeah, I seem to remember I was working at this like the tail end of a year, a bit sometimes over like the holidays. So the end of 2025 probably. I must have started this in 2024 and then went, yeah, you know, I'll finish it later. And then at the end of 2020, oh well, who knows? It was one of those. I was really interested or invested in actually completing this game and never did. And now I couldn't tell you the first thing about how the code behind it works. Because one thing that's like recurring thing is I want to code my own interfaces. I don't know why. This is like a recurring thing with me. I want to 2023 from my read of the folder listing. 2023 is from let's see here. There's a script in here that I downloaded that I did not make, and that is there's 2018. That's the smooth scrolling. 2023 is probably when some of this stuff was. Yeah, okay. So the mood meter and the all of this stuff. 2023. Yeah, that makes sense. And month is 12, so that tracks. I started it in like November and then carried on through December and the start of January the following year. So yeah, that tracks. So anyway, one thing I really want to do is like make my own UIs. When I start an adventure game studio project, I always start from like a blank template for reasons I don't know. I never use like the because AGS has all these like templates you can use. You can use a Beneath the Steel Sky template where left click is look at, right click is interact, which is how it should be. And you can have, you know, your LucasArts 9 verbs, and you can have your Sierra icons. They have templates for all of those. They have a verb coin, like Full Throttle, Curse of Monkey Island type verb coin template for that as well. And I don't use those. I always start with a fresh slate. For some reason. I don't know why. Because I just want to... And I guess that's where I get bogged down. I just want to, like, make my own... I'm slightly more interested, I suppose, in actually making the framework for an adventure game. Because I have this idea that once I make the framework, then the rest will be a piece of piss. I just have to... Like, when everything's in place, then I'll just have to, like, write the game and draw the graphics. And at that point, I'm just, when I get to that point, I'm like, you know what? Actually, maybe this is all a terrible idea and I'll move on to something else. Case in point. This was one I was working on very recently. Last year, as it turns out. I can't remember why. There's an idea I had where, because again, a lot of this stuff is me just being really terrible at graphics and drawing. I'm like, that's always the one thing that's held me back from just making a shitload of games is every time I start making a game, I always go, oh, how the fuck am I going to do graphics for this? Because I can't draw for shit. So I had one idea, which was instead of making a game in low resolution 320 by 200 or 320 by 240, I would half that into a game that's 160 by 120. So you have chunky pixels. And I'd see if I could make a game where I didn't have to draw as much, you know, on screen. And, you know, also it's kind of like an exercise in like, could you make a game that's like really, really, really low res? How would the interface look? How would the dialogue? I mean, you can't have much text in a game that's 160 by 120. And yes, what you're seeing on screen now is 160 by 120. AGS just blows it up so you can actually test it. But if you run this in a proper resolution, it is 160 by 120. It would fit on a GBA, yeah. So this is what I came up with. I'm in the goo cave. I guess the premise for the game is that you're this dude who crashed a spaceship and got thrown into, this is sort of like a jail for the inhabitants of the planet. And the thing that I loved about this one, and this is also where I got a bit stuck up my own ass, is I wanted an interface like your typical icon interface, but I very specifically did not want a use verb. I remember I had a long discussion on my Discord about this game. Like, you would have standardized verbs, but you would not have a use verb. So you have look, pick up, talk to, push, or like otherwise fondle, and a move and an open. So you have those, but there's not just a random like an ubiquitous use. You have to specify what it is you want to do with something. So, as you can tell, the font. So there's not a lot of room for text in a 160 by 120, especially not if you want to have like a description that's, well, the text isn't massive. So I drew this font. That's, I mean, it's you can read it. It's not very like, it's not good for your eyes. And I tried to make like upper and lower case. It just does not work. It just that, yeah. So it's all uppercase, and that's just how it is. Now, one of the things I really loved when I was making this one was doing animation, but we have to go through a series of steps to actually get to any fun animation. However, let me just quickly show you one thing. The other thing about this game, I was talking about the interface. You have standardized icons, but only some of them will actually do something. But you also have, let's see. You can play this entirely with your keyboard. So right now I've got a mouse cursor. If I press M, mouse cursor disappears. Lower left corner has a little look at right now, and now I can move him around WASD. I can even run. And there's a look at right now. I believe space is, yes, space is for interaction. So if I move close to an object, it says what the object is, and there's a little icon that pops up in the lower right corner that says you are now near something you can interact with, and press space. Now I look at this thing. I press M again. Boop, I'm back to mouse control. This does the same thing. And I think, just go to other verbs. I think it's just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yep. Lower left corner, icon changes. Yeah, so the idea about the idea for the indicator is that I actually don't know what the idea with the indicator was, because no, at some point I didn't have the hover over text, like where it says goo tree. At some point I didn't have that, so I just had a icon instead. Anyway, so if I try and do that, it'll say it doesn't open or close. Now, eagle-eyed of you will notice that when I click on it with the mouse interface, you simply can't select any of the ones that don't make any sense. But when you're in keyboard mode, obviously you can go to talk, and you have to have a default response for that. Anyway, so the one dude we can talk to is this guy over here. He's another prisoner. Hello? Oh, hi. So what are you in for? Don't know. They wouldn't tell me. Well, you must have done something pretty bad to get tossed in here. Well, I may have crashed my hopper into one of their huts. Oh, so that was you. Yeah, that'll do it. Oh, and one other thing I did is instead of doing the Monkey Island thing where you just have, this is the line that I'm going to say, and instead of doing the Tex Murphy thing where it's just the mood, I would do this very flowery sort of, I don't know why. It's just sort of very pretentious kind of thing. You want to make this on Unreal. What engine is this? This is Adventure Game Studio. Have fun with that. So it's just this flower sort of, instead of ask who he is, it would be establish identity. Instead of how did you get in here, it would be inquire about his predicament. Instead of, oh, are we in any danger? Ascertain threat level. How long do you think we have before they come back and kill us? Yeah, probably sometime between the next few minutes and sunset. So we better get our shit together is what you're saying. I wouldn't get my hopes up if I were you. I've checked around. The only way out is through that cave entrance. And all that's going to get you is an expedited execution. Okay. Brainstorm escape possibilities. Never been... Oh, yeah, the alien race was called Sprouts because I had an idea. They're like little... like little sprout characters, like with little flower petals for hair and shit like that. I don't know why. Blah, blah, blah. Nope, no one has any good ideas. So... what you do is you poke this one called Baby Goo. I don't know why. If you poke this, then he'll pipe up and say you're not supposed to do that. Then you have a little conversation. And then you do it again, and this time something happens. Is anyone ready? Don't say I didn't warn you. You put the palm of your hand to the gelatinous strand. It comes away with a small residue of goo which sticks to your hand. Ew. Would you mind not doing that? What the fuck? I beg your pardon. Express astonishment. Sean Connery just showed up. Express astonishment. Holy shit, you can talk. Yep, so it would seem. Are you surprised? A little. Most people are. It's good to be surprised once in a while. I suppose you're right. This is like class A fucking writing. This is what happens when you don't do a once-over. When you just go, oh well. Oh, I animated the guy coming out of the goo. Don't. So, courtesy flush. The only reason I'm showing this game is because there is an awesome animation coming up. This is the one animation I've ever done that I'm proud of, and it's this guy over here is a bit of an asshole. So once you actually make your escape, the goo monster will go, oh, by the way, should I just kill this dude? And our protagonist goes, yeah, why not? And yes, he will die in a very extraordinary fashion. Anyway, we apologize. Sorry for poking little goo. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, sorry. All right, you're not from around here. Leave him alone. Yes, all right. So, escape options. Is there a way out of the cave? You mean besides the gaping entrance next to us? Yes, preferably some less conspicuous way. Oh, well, I don't know. All right, I'm not a huge fan of the Sprout fellas. If you can find something to feed Baby Goo, I can show you another way out. Okay. Ascertain sustenance requirements. What does he like to eat? Fertilizer. As in, well, what do you humans normally use for fertilizer? So, yeah, this is, again, peak. Humans produce it autonomously, don't you? Well, I just had a bathroom break before I was taken prisoner. Well, what about your friend over there? Can't help you, I'm afraid. Why not? Already took care of business. And, yeah, there's some other stuff. Goodbye. Don't worry, we'll see him again. Okay, so now we chat with this dude and find out that he took a shit in one of the piles around here. Request details pertaining to biological waste evacuation. When did you take your shit, to be exact? Kind of a personal question, don't you think? Trying to get us out of here, dude. All right. I was fine for the first couple of hours after I got here, but then, nature calls. And all I had was a styrofoam container from the last time I went to the burger joint, so I squatted one out there and tossed it away. Where do you toss it? Over in the corner somewhere. Well, can you go and get it for me, please? I'd rather not. Come on, man, your poop could be our ticket out. Now, why don't you go and get it then? Don't you want to escape this place? Dude, if you seriously think these goo monsters are just going to let us go out of here, you're one gullible motherfucker. Forcefully insist on coverage. So this is what you have to do in order to, get him killed. Come on, you dumbass. It's at least worth a shot. Who are you calling a dumbass? You dumbass. Why don't you at least get off your ass and try? Are you serious? They're having a laugh. I'll tell you, I've met some pretty fucking stupid people in my time. Oh, forget it. You stay here and die. Suit yourself. Dumbass. Alright, so I think his piece of shit is in here. Yeah, high class. Absolutely high class. Poke around. It's not going to reveal anything useful. You're really going to have to get... Oh, you have to move it. So, That's move. Wrinkling your nose in disgust, you start shifting pieces of trash to the side, hoping to catch a glimpse of the filthy styrofoam treasure you seek. This is a lot of dialogue. After shifting one particularly large piece of unidentifiable refuse, an acrid smell suddenly wafts up from the trash pile and violently surges through your nostrils, whereupon it lodges irrevocably in the back of your throat. Pay dirt. Well, congratulations, buddy. Shut up. I'm getting us out of here. Sure you are. Fucking weirdo. Do I pick it up or did I already get it? Pick up? Picking up the whole pile seems excessive. Oh, where's my fucking inventory? Oh yeah, the inventory is a whole thing onto itself. Yeah, because it had to work with keyboard controls, right? So if I turn off mouse control, boop, now we're in keyboard control mode. So tab brings up the, it fucking enables the mouse too. Wasn't supposed to do that. It's like, again, this is an abandoned game. It doesn't work entirely as you'd expect it to, but once you click it, it sort of arms your inventory item. So right click removes it, right click brings up your inventory, click poop, now you've armed your poop. And the same thing works in mouse control mode. So if I now bottom left corner, you can see the poop has been enabled. So if we go up to, now we're using mouse control for some reason. Go up to baby goo and we apply poop. You open the styrofoam container and place it face down near the base of baby goo's roots. I see you fed our precious baby goo. Thank you. It was my pleasure. I very much doubt it was, which is why I will now reward you with your freedom. Behind you, an opening reveals itself in the floor that I didn't bother to animate. You and your friend are free to go. He's not really my friend, you know. In fact, I have half a mind to leave him here. I overheard your conversation and can't say I blame you. What? You want me to take care of him for you? Well, that'd be great, thanks. No problem. What the fuck? There we go. Wow. Happy to help. Anyway, you're free to go. Cheers. Don't mention it. And that's it. The game's done now. There's nothing else. Yeah, it's a lot of. Oh yeah, you can look at the shredded plate. Not much left of that guy. Talk to him. You're not gonna get much more out of him. That was fun. That was a fun animation. That's pretty much that was the whole game. I did that animation, and the next thing that would happen was like a floor, like a little trapdoor, and like a little gooey trapdoor in the floor would open up, and you climb down. And there'd be like this flesh maze down, and the first thing you'd do is you'd go up to this intersection. There'd be two tunnels in front of you. One says the easy way, one says the hard way. Easy, and it's basically just that do you want to skip this maze or not? But there's like an easy way and a hard way. If you go hard way, you go through an actual fucking maze. If you go easy way, it's just one tunnel and you skip the entire maze and go out the other end. And yes, Sphincter shows up. I just have to. I don't want to go through all this shit about actually getting him. Okay, so here we go. Quite a lot of anime frames in this animation. Bloop, 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 bloop. There we go. Done deal. That was fun. Took like an afternoon. Anyway, that was 160 by 120. One room, one dead guy. Oh yeah, and it goes up his ass, by the way. Did you notice that? It goes straight up his ass. And splits him in half. Because we're all about that class, you know? Maze as bad as all demons. Do you know? No, actually, I was gonna do like a top-down maze. So you crawl around and kind of boulder dashy like. And this was before I played Innocent Until Caught. I didn't know they did the thing. So I was actually gonna do what they did in Innocent Until Caught. So now obviously I can't do that. But it was gonna be. So the inspiration for it was actually the cave maze in Space Quest 2. So you'd have like a little halo around, like a little light halo, like put gem in mouth, and you'd go through the maze like that. Have like a fog of war kind of thing. Remember from Warcraft 2, fog of war. So places you'd already been would sort of reveal themselves as you went. Yeah. Would have been fun. I have no idea where this game was going, plot-wise, story-wise. All I did was just build the first room, build the UI, and make sure that you could switch between mouse and keyboard controls, and which causes all sorts of headaches, incidentally, because the let's see, everything is hotspots. So because you have to be able to stand in a hotspot in order for the game to recognize that his feet are touching a hotspot. But it also has to be small enough that when you're using the mouse, the hotspot feels natural. So everything has to be hotspots, and everything has to be, if you're standing in this hotspot, do this and that kind of thing. Oh, this one actually doesn't have a stand-in hotspots. So how does this work, actually? I forgot. Look at this fucking spaghetti code. Oh, fuck it. Right, on to the next one. Nope, no savies. So, very recently, I fucked around with a different kind of keyboard control thing. Thanks, Lars. I would love to. It's weird. If there's not like a 2-week deadline, then nothing gets done. I've finished many jam games with my friend Torpedo Bear. When Adventure Jam was a thing, every year we would do something. There's like a 2-week deadline, and we'd put something together. And we've put together, like, Long Distance Coughing was an FMV game made in 2 weeks, and All Demons Must Go to Hell was a jam game, which was a complete shitpost of a game, intentionally so. But if I don't have like a deadline and someone to bounce ideas off of, just this is what you get. You get these finished games. Case in point, this was the latest one I was working on. It was also intended kind of like a shitpost, because I was going for one of those, this UI is so bad, ha ha ha. But I showed it to people on my Discord, and they actually went, you know what, this UI is actually not that bad. I can fly with this. So that sort of backfired, I guess. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. So we want to start this guy in the silhouette room, because where I got stuck on this game was I wanted a screen that had sort of a fake 3D scroll effect. It's hard to explain. Maybe I'll show you that later. Let's just see the actual game as it were right now. And this is keyboard only, so I'll just explain what the hell it is I'm doing as we go along. First, the intro. So again, we're doing the whole DOS thing, and it is the resolution is your actual DOS resolution. I looked it up. What was it? Let's see here. General settings. It runs in 720 by 400. So it is an actual DOS prompt resolution. And my face is obscuring most of it, so I'm just going to make myself teeny tiny down here. Like that, maybe. Anyway, Annalise Bryson speaking. We have an urgent matter for you to attend to, and I just skipped the entire cutscene. I didn't know I could do that. Let's try that again. God damn it. I have news. I have runny nose. Oh, it just skips the entire... Wait, I wrote dialogue for this shit. What happened? What happened? Silhouette room. Skip is any key. That's not gonna work, is it? Let's just say we can't skip the intro. Where's the exit end cutscene? There we go. Let's try that again. The any key is my favorite button. Is Adventure Jam not a thing anymore? I don't think it is. It used to, and then it sort of stopped. And excuse me. I know there's been other jam. There was an adventure point and click jam, I think it was, happened recently. But Torpedo Bear and I have been sort of out of the loop for a long while. So, I mean, I kind of hope they bring it back, but also there's a reason why I'm doing live streams at the moment instead of working on videos. So things are a little wild now. But I do want to do more games with Torpedo Bear. Now I've got like a shitload of potential games we could focus on, even though I'm kind of ruining it by showing everyone. But anyway, you're a secret operative. So the premise for this program, the flight simulators. No. We're not doing Mean Streets. That's not what we're doing. Anyway, the premise of this game is that you're a secret operative, one of those people who unravel cults. So one of your fellow agents went to investigate a cult operating out of a gentleman's club, and that operative went missing. So now you're the dude who gets sent in to find the missing agent and unravel whatever the cult is doing. And you don't actually get to see any of the cult in this game, in this demo, or whatever you want to call it, this unfinished prototype, because, again, this is a one-room game with no sound. But anyway, I did a whole intro, so we're going to watch the fucking intro. This is Annalise Bryson. We have an urgent matter for you to attend to. Something nefarious is going on at the Grouse Goblin Gentlemen's Club. I don't know why I picked that name. A former member reached out to our main office under the condition of complete anonymity, which we granted. The allegations were serious: coercion, blackmail, identity erosion, forced social isolation, the whole shebang. It's not even a triptych. It's everything. Just everything a girl needs. Sounded like your textbook case, so we dispatched your colleague Walter Matheson to investigate. I think I stole that name from someplace. Not Walter Matthau. He's an actor. I know that, but Matheson is anyway. That was 4 weeks ago. He's missed every check-in since then, lazy bastard. Either he's been compromised and is being held there against his will, or maybe something else has happened to him. Maybe they're smothering him in... What is that Red Dwarf episode? Like, if you're not doing anything on lunch, I'll be in my quarters covered in Tarama Salada. Sorry. Can't say for certain. That's where you come in, Alex. Say no more, Chief. I'm on it. Double space after period. It's director. My title is director, Alex. I know, Chief. Dialton. So, she loves me. Not entirely sure what tone I was going for. But anyway, taxi with no spinning wheels. This must be the place. Okay, so the other thing about this game is, first of all, as you can see, it's 16-color EGA. And second, all the graphics are created out of stock footage or stock images. Even this dude in his walking animation is this is a stock dude. Okay, so now you can actually, because I'm up against this dude, you can see the arm and the legs moving back and forth. That's me cutting out his fucking leg and rotating it back and forth like that. It's so that's why I think I went with some humor, because this whole thing looks fucking ridiculous. Also, it just looks like he's doing, I don't know what he's doing, but it's something. I had to break a few knees with this. Oh, yeah. Is it lame like the Police Quest 3 cult? I don't know. In the back of my mind, I was hoping for... I wanted to go in a sort of like a survival horror-ish thing. Not a survival horror gameplay, but the sort of survival horror like a System Shock kind of thing where you find diary scraps and notes and stuff. So you have a whole cast of characters that have interacted at some point, and they all have relationships with each other, but the whole story is sort of told out of order. The entire complex is abandoned except for when you like get to the bottom floor and shit starts flying at you or something. So, but anyway, I never really got to figure out the actual story for this, but I knew I wanted it to be the sort of thing where I had a big cast of characters, and what you were doing is basically you were just sifting through audio logs, basically, or written logs or whatever, and trying to piece together what happened up until the point where everything went to pieces. Oh, and you can't see because of my stupid face, but we have a little, what do you call it? Little highlighter thing. So I'm standing close to something. It highlights at the bottom of the screen. The doorkeeper. Yes, he walks with a 3-foot rods clenched in his ass. Kind of like Detective Carey, huh? Yeah. So anyway, all of this is all these graphics are like stolen from Google Image, like furniture stores and shit like that. So anyway, the actual interface, as you can see in the top, we've got file, action, inventory, and help. We used to have a lot more than that, but because I switched out the walk around script at some point, and so a bunch of stuff suddenly became redundant. I had a whole thing where you could like switch between, would you like to use WASD or arrow keys, and do you want Sierra style movements, or do you want like regular movements, like either you press the key once and he just keeps going until you tell him to stop, or do you want just hold down the key to make him move, kind of thing. But the new script I have didn't allow for Sierra style walking, so now you just move him with your arrow keys. Anyway, the interface. This was I thought this was going to be like a shit post of a game, like the interface was just going to be horrible and everyone was going to hate it, and I'd sit there and go ha ha ha, but it actually turns out to be, once you get the hang of it, actually turns out to be kind of fun. If I press C, you get the list of actions, and everything is hotkey based. So L is look at, cool. P is pick up, cool. O is open and or close. M is move, and C is because I moved some books, so now I've got a packet of dried noodles hiding in the credenza. C is activate, which is another word for turn on and off, or because again, I don't want a use verb. I hate the ubiquitous use, the one that, the hand icon in Sierra games, or the use verb in LucasArts games. I hate it. I want more granular. I don't want like all demons must go to hell, like 27 million verbs, and I don't want like universe or Curse of Enchantia where you got all these verbs that basically do nothing and it's just like guess the verb kind of shenanigans. I don't want that either, but I want some sort of granularity so I have some sort of idea of what the main character is actually going to do. So I hate the use verb, and activate is, I think, is sort of a turn on or off or operate kind of thing. Obviously, you can't use packet of dried noodles in credenza, but you can pick them up. Boop. And once you get the hotkeys down, you can this actually works surprisingly well, unfortunately. So let's just speed through this. Action. You look at the books. You're supposed to look at the coffee machine for it. So actually, let's talk to this dude so you have an idea of why we're doing all of this. Hello, I'm gonna address the door now for some reason. What's behind that door? That's none of your business. Now scram. Could you scooch over so I can get past you? Not in your damn life, brother. This is private property. Now beat it. You look really tired. Oh yeah? Why don't you come a little closer and repeat that so I can slap you? And you've got a bunch of things. You're supposed to pick the right one. Now here's the thing. You might have noticed one of these turned purple. That's because there is a mouse cursor, an invisible mouse cursor somewhere here. One thing I've never been able to figure out with AGS is to just disable the mouse entirely. Right now the mouse is just invisible and none of the hotspots do anything. Left clicking is disabled. But also it would be great if moving the mouse over, because this is just a dialogue tree. This is your standard AGS dialogue tree. So when you move your mouse over one of the available answers or replies, it highlights that reply. And I've never been able to figure out how to change the highlight color of a dialogue option. I've searched high and low for it, and there are forum posts about how to do it, and none of it works. We need smell and taste. Yeah, of course. So anyway, what you're supposed to do is, sounds like you didn't get your morning coffee. Yes. Damn coffee machine is broken. If I get you some coffee, will that lighten your mood? Yes. Take my coffee mug. Alrighty, Heidi. So now we get to see the inventory. Again, I made this as a shit post, so I didn't think, I thought the inventory would be an absolute nightmare, but so I got a bag of noodles and I got a coffee mug, and the entire inventory is controlled with the dialogue script in AGS. which is fun. So now I can like equip or unequip items. So what you do is inventory is when you get close to an object, you press I and you select the item, in this case, a coffee mug, and then you press I again to use item. So you can only use inventory items. And you can't combine inventory items, which is fun. Anyway, place the mug under the dispenser and realize to your dismay that the coffee machine is not in working order. You retrieve the angry mug. Okay, the angry mug. You retrieve the angry mug. So I'm still holding the coffee mug. It doesn't matter because I can still use the action menu and not the coffee. So inventory and actions are completely dissociated from each other. So now when I look at the bookshelf, there's a technical manual for the... what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to move? I'm supposed to look at... Oh, am I just supposed to look at the coffee machine? There's a trigger here that is probably a little broken. So now when I look at it, yeah, there we go. So using the empty coffee mug and trying to actually use the coffee machine did not set the flag it was supposed to. But then again. Now we get the Dripster 9000 service manual, which we can then pick up. As you'll notice, every time something happens to an object or something changes, the actual object changes. You'll see this in a moment. So when you get the service manual, now of course we have to equip the service manual and use it on the coffee machine. Use item. Using your hitherto undiscovered talents for machine repair, you definitely apply the instructions in the service manual to the coffee machine's defiant attitude. The details are unimportant, but the end result speaks for itself. The power button now flashes a pleasant green, indicating that the machine is ready for use. So now it's working, and now we have, hopefully, yes, we have thrown away the manual. Good. So now, of course, the question is, oh yeah, the bag of noodles are extra spicy, by the way. Yeah, holding spicy noodles. I think there's... Oh, yeah, you can look at item. When you've got them equipped, you can look at them. It's a pack of very spicy instant noodles. An ominous red label on the front of the cellophane warns about the potency of the included spice packet, which it sternly proclaims is not for amateurs. So, but if you try and use that on the coffee machine right now, this is not a suitable container for liquids. So you're supposed to put it in something. So instead, let's use the coffee mug. It's empty. I'm holding an empty coffee mug. Use it on it. You place the cup, machine wears, and proceeds to happily regurgitate a stream of steaming hot black liquid into the cup. So now the object of coffee machine has changed to mug of coffee on coffee machine. So this is how you combine shit. Basically, you put it down somewhere, or it appears somewhere, and then you put something in it, or combine it that way. You can't combine anything in your inventory. You have to put it somewhere. So now you select the bag of noodles and use that in the mug of coffee, and dump the entire contents into the coffee mug, wincing and trying not to sneeze. Now you've got a mug of spicy coffee on the coffee machine, which you can then pick up. Obviously, you can just pick up the regular coffee mug and give it to him and achieve nothing. But let's just do this. And let's get stuck on the lamp. Cool. This is peak game deving. All right. So if we try to talk to him now, he'll just go hand it over because we already promised him coffee. So we just select coffee mug, holding spicy coffee, give it to him. And I hope this animation is still, yes, just like in Maze, the whole combiney thing. Which made very little sense in Maze because, you got a table and you got these ghostly outlines of shit. And you're like, well, why does the game want me to put this down here? And it turns out it's because you had to put something else on. You had to combine it. It just didn't seem natural to me to have this sort of crafting table mechanic. Then again, does it really make sense to be able to like surreptitiously combine shit in your pockets? Like pure adventure game style? I don't know. So my idea for this game was to design puzzles around it, basically. Just if two things need to be combined, then it should logically make sense to put the one thing down somewhere and then apply the other thing to it, rather than just sort of smash it together inside your inventory. I don't know. Anyway, it worked in Maze because stupid. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose. They really loved that word, didn't they? In Maze, like they really loved the word stupid. Anyway, I hope the animation that I made of the dude drinking the spicy coffee is still in here, because again, the sprites and all the graphics are just stock images, just random stock. But the old dude on the chair here, whoever sat in that chair had like a whole series of pictures of him, which I put to somewhat amusing use, I think. You hand over the spicy concoction. The guy evidently doesn't notice as he takes another monumental sip. His eyes widen, veins on his forehead begin to protrude noticeably, sweat beads become tiny cascades of perspiration across his brow. Then, without saying a word, the old man darts out the front door, leaving you alone in the front hall. Fuck off. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Alright, and that's where the game ends. Or the thing ends. I don't even think you can open the door. Can you open the door? Nope. Oh, it did have an opening animation. But that's it. That's where it ends. Hey, Summer. Oh, and I think the help thing is just, sorry, you're on your own. Press H for help. It's like, nah, not gonna help you. And file is a really dangerous, menu item, because all of these are just mapped to regular AGS. So if you press Q to quit, I don't even think it asks you if you want to quit. It just does. Oh, it does ask, but you have no way to say I want to keep playing, except pressing escape apparently works. But new game is really scary because that just restarts. Like, no question asked, it just restarts. Yes, and the game is called You Must Pay for Finesse, which is, I'm not sure if that was, it's just a working title. That's something my son usually says. Like when he gets, when I cheat in a game, which is play better than he does, I sometimes say, oh, like let's say we're playing let's say we're playing like a PvP game, like a shooty game, and I outrun him or I jump behind him because I've played Quake a lot more than he ever has. So I jump behind him and I shoot him in the back, and I go, ha, I finessed you, and he says, you must pay for finesse. So that's sort of a running joke with us. You must pay for finesse. You cannot just finesse, like best someone. You must pay for finesse. He has a lot of cute little things, like when he tries to outrun something in a game, because we play a lot of like 99 Nights in the Forest kind of stuff, where you're running away from something, and one time we were playing 99 Nights and he was running away from the big deer monster, and he just shouted, "Little feeties go!" It's just so cute. I actually made him a shirt with the 99 Nights deer on it, and like a little text on the bottom that says "Little feeties go," because I thought that was so cute. All right, so the reason I got stuck on this game was because I wanted to have here it is, scrolling dungeon. So here's the thing, right? So once you go through the door, maybe this was later in the game, I don't know, but I wanted to have a long ass room, right? A really like long room, and I wanted, maybe this will demonstrate better if I actually jump into this room. Okay, so 96,260, 96,260. Give us a moment. 96,260, 96,260. Okay. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have this room, right? You go in, you see the cells like blocking your view, and you're like walking behind the cells, and I wanted it to be so like when you move down the hall, the screen scrolls, but this object right here, the one in the foreground, starts animating, and the animation of it is where is it? Scrolling wall. That's not gonna make much sense, is it? Is it like a preview? Oh yeah, here we go. Animate. So it goes like that, you see? So it's basically just a looping animation of cells going by as you're walking across the room, which I thought would be fucking great, but I can't work out how to actually do it in game. And you know what this is? The actual animation here? Minecraft. I built this in Minecraft. Just basically cells. You might recognize the barred window texture from Minecraft, just because it is Minecraft. This is basically just a looping side scrolly of Minecraft. Yeah, why not? It's technically, I guess, stock footage. I don't know. Maybe I should have replaced it. I don't know. Anyway, I thought that was very clever. So the idea is, when you were in here walking around, once you hit the edge of the screen, instead of scrolling with the camera, the big object here in front would just, it would stay glued to the screen and then just animate as you walk by, so it would look like you were walking past a bunch of cells. Couldn't get it to work. There's gotta be some way to make this work, but I was definitely not clever enough. I asked on the AGS forums, like, oh wait, how do you make an object only play or only animate when the screen is scrolling? And they gave me some idea of how to do it. Store this in this variable and check that variable and see if the game is scrolling or not. And I tried, it didn't work, and I was too embarrassed to go back and ask for clarification. So here we are. So that's sort of when I just sort of gave up, really. So it's like I had this whole idea about what would happen once you went through the door, and I was like, you know what? I can't get this to work, so fuck it. I'm not gonna do anything else. So that was finesse. So what else have we got? Want us to ask on your behalf? I don't know. Could you make it one long image? Now see, that's the thing, right? I could make the cells one long image, but then they wouldn't like animate. The whole thing is that they have to animate. Scroll wall. Let's do this again. Preview. Animate. So as you can see, there's like perspective. So that's why the actual, so the image, the scroll wall image is exactly the same size as the game's resolution. So I just wanted it to like be plastered, like glued to the front, and just when the screen scrolls, it animates this way. And if you walk the other way, then of course it scrolls the other way. Couldn't get it to work. Couldn't even make it glued to the front. And I certainly couldn't make it so that it animated whichever way you went. So if someone could figure that out, please let me know. I'd be happy to share the game code and all that shit. You would be surprised at how fucking spaghetti it is, because of course it's spaghetti. I mean, let's have a look at the code. Oh yeah, it's a lot of if then else, and everything is controlled by the on-call function. It's like hotspots do nothing, or like the standard AGS stuff does nothing. Again, it's one of those things, like I always want to like code my own UIs, and it always turns into fucking spaghetti. But I don't know. I'm just not happy with how even perspective in a long image. See, it wouldn't animate. That's the thing. Like the bottom of like the bricks at the bottom here. They sort of animate with the perspective. Oh, it would have been such a trick. I would have, like, when I would have showed this to the world, they'd be like, how the hell did you do that? And I go, it's actually very simple. It's just an animated texture, except I can't get it to work. So now everything is ruined. Anyway, moving on. We are getting into. Do you guys want to see the Space Quest fan games? Yeah, let's do the Space Quest fan games. Might as well. So I have 2 to show, I believe. Let's see. First one is a fairly old one, 2023, as far as I can see. I gotta do. Hang on. Yes, I just wiped my nose on my sleeve. It's okay. I'm gonna change my shirt after we're done. All right, so. Space Quest Search for Xenon was apparently saved in an earlier version of AGS. Let's fucking hope nothing breaks. We'll see. We'll see when I try to start it. So the idea for this game was it takes place between Space Quest 4 and 5. So you come... Wait, does it? No, it takes place between 3 and 4. Space Quest 3 and 4. So you're still in the Aluminum Mallard. You've gone back through the wormhole, and now you're trying to find Xenon. But before landing on Magnetheus and all that sort of shit. So it's between 3 and 4. So you come out of the... In fact, I think the intro in this game is him coming out of the wormhole after he drops off the 2 guys at the end of Space Quest 3. If it runs, we'll see. So far, no errors. Woohoo! Oh, it's in widescreen. Just gonna make myself a little smaller down here. For the scrolling cells, roughly tie the scroll X position to the animation frame. Would not be the exact X coordinates. At this point, I would love to see if you can actually do it. If someone could do it. Yeah, I've half a mind to just post the source code in my Discord and just let anyone have at it. If you want to finish the game for me, that'd be great. Anyway, Space Quest search for Xenon. So the idea is we're trying to find Xenon, and the Aluminum Mallard gets... So he finds a space station after coming out of the wormhole. He lands on the space station and tries to ask for directions, but the Aluminum Mallard gets impounded because he doesn't technically have any registration for it. He just found it in a dumpster, basically, garbage freighter at the start of Space Quest 3. So he can't really prove this ship is his. And so the entire game was just going to be set in this space station, sort of like an intergalactic, it's a way station, so it was kind of look like an airport, but a space airport. And it's going to have all these little shops and, tourist traps and whatnot. It's basically, you come in, you leave kind of thing, which would be fun. And I had a whole thing with an Elon Musk parody in the game before that turned out to not be as much fun anymore. It was back just around the time when he bought Twitter, so it was still fun to make fun of Elon Musk and not depressing. So I had it. So it's obviously that's not in what you're about to see anyway. Let's see if the intro works. Again, no sound, but we've got comic book style. I hope someday the fan-made Space Quest 12 would be finished. Although on Space Quest 14 with voice-controlled time machines. Do you know what? We actually had... I'm gonna briefly pause again and say I had another idea for a Space Quest fan game that I don't have a prototype for, which was Roger Jr. with his time gun goes back through various Space Quest games and sets up shit for Roger to... So Roger Jr. was the one who put the glowing gem in the swamp in Space Quest 2, so Roger could find that. Roger Jr. was the one who put parked the spaceship in Space Quest 1 that Roger accidentally steals, buys off of Aura, and even after, this is like a bunch of shit, every fortuitous happenstance that happens to Roger during the course of the Space Quest games was actually Roger Jr. going back and setting that shit up. That was an idea, but this one is different. So we find you, Roger Wilco, traveling through a black hole after successfully rescuing the 2 guys from Andromeda and dropping them off on the doorsteps of Sierra Online. Safe with the knowledge that your creators are no longer in danger and your continued existence has thus been ensured, you emerge feeling elated and victorious. Well, was that a great animation? Look at that. Very... very much temporary graphics. It's running in 1920 by 200 resolution, so I was really overly confident. This thing is a 3D model by Damon Master, Eric Sten, who it is textured in Blender, I think, but when I imported it, I couldn't get the textures to work, and it was a placeholder anyway, so... Yeah, this is the Aluminum Mallet as we know it right now. Just a gray blob of untextured mess. Anyway, your feeling of elation is short-lived as the realization dawns on you that this is not the same region of space from whence you left. as black holes will typically do to you. A tingle of dread tickles down your spine as an unwelcome yet familiar phrase once again escapes your lips. Where am I? Taking a look at your ship's navigational computer, your worst fears are soon realized. Navigational data not found. There's a word for the situation you currently find yourself in, but it's not usually uttered in polite conversation. You peer outside the viewport, frantically scouting for anything that might constitute some semblance of civilization. Again, I will cop to that, of course, all the backgrounds and everything else really is just Google image search. Here's an expanse of space, let's use that. So some of it might be AI generated. I honestly wasn't thinking about that back when I made this. Again, when was this made? 2023. So AI was still sort of a, what the fuck is going on over there kind of thing. So yeah, some of this is AI, and I apologize retroactively. Just as you're about to give yourself over to utter panic, a glimmer catches your eye in the distance. I will reiterate, I didn't generate any AI of this, but some of the graphics that I stole from other people for this might be AI. So it's technically stealing something that's stolen. So I double stole something. It's a spaceport! Woohoo! With no small sense of relief, you flip the engines to regular speed and set a rendezvous course. Zzz, off you go. Yeah, this looks upscale, doesn't it? This might actually be an upscale of the cockpit. No, it's a completely different cockpit. I don't know how I did that. The cockpit, I mean. This whole thing is... Oh, this is AI, isn't it? Yeah, that is definitely AI. Do you know what? It might have been... At one point, I actually had a phone app called Dream, which was an AI generation app. And one of the things you could do with it was it had image to image AI generation. So you could feed it an image, and it would sort of reinterpret that image somehow. And again, this is before, AI was demonstrably fucking evil. So it was fun to play with for a while. So I think a lot of the graphics in this game might have been stuff like me drawing some like vague shapes of something and then putting it into this Dream app and it spits this out. Because obviously this is AI. I mean, look at it. So yeah, go to double jail. Anyway, down we go. This is just a mess of Photoshop content-aware fill, really. Anyway, the point of this is, and the sprite here is just upscaled SQ4 Roger. Yeah, it was a bad idea. AI is a bad idea, and we shouldn't. It was fun to play around with until everyone realized, oh shit, that sucked. The escalator is definitely stolen from someplace. That's a Google image search. So anyway, the point of this, the reason why I wanted to show this is the interface, which again, for some reason I decided to code from scratch. Because one thing we all love is a good point-and-click interface, but also, where's the parser? So what this does is, you have look at, you have talk to, and then you have the ability to type in whatever it is you want to do to the booth attendant. Now, because this little window up here that I'm moving around somehow, that's supposed to say whatever the item you clicked on is. It doesn't seem to work, but oh well. So anyway, let's go have a chat with Fondle booth attendant. Oh yeah, we can actually do that. Excuse me, I was just going to go through this. Is that your craft that just landed? Yeah, then I can't help you. Blah, blah, blah. Lot of bullshit. So, booth attendant, let's fondle him. The booth attendant is unmoved by your romantic advances. Kiss. Also, slap. Slap is, no, can't do that. Punch. Punch isn't in the Andromeda dictionary. That's because the word isn't in the parser. Drop trow. Absolutely. No, drop isn't. Let's not. Yeah, it's basically the layer 7 interface. You're right. And generic shooters. I would love to get into the whole AI thing, but I don't think we have time for this. Honestly. So I'm not gonna get into that. Bottom line, AI can go fuck itself. I would never use it for any creative project today. This was made back in 2023, so it was quite a long time ago. And also back when you could quite easily tell what was AI and what wasn't. Now it's just a pile of garbage and I would never use it, but here we are. And this is the end, by the way. This is as far as you'll ever get in the demo or whatever you want to call it. The space station has a mahogany information desk. The desk is stolen from, I think it's like a train platform in the UK. I think I stole it from there somewhere. And now I'm stuck. Yeah, it is train station. Space mahogany. So that was the whole thing. He was stuck in an airport of some kind, like a space airport, and he has to prove that the aluminum mallet is his, and stuff. But the whole point of it was, yes, at least it's your layer 7 interface. You can parser, but you can also point and click. And as you may have seen, I don't know if, can I skip the intro? Boop. Skippy. Yes, I can. So you may have seen the booth attendant has a talk icon, but the information kiosk has a hand icon. So those two would swap. So that icon will swap out with whatever was the most, like if it was a door, it would change into an open door icon, stuff like that. I wish King's Quest 3 was this short. Yeah. I'm a little bummed out that the bar at the top here is supposed to, like that, is supposed to say what it was you clicked on, but that's broken. So anyway, that was one fan game back in 2023 that never got anywhere. One thing I've been poking around with very, very recently, which uses no AI whatsoever, was, again, this was intended as a shitpost, and then I went, this might actually have something, and then I just sort of forgot about it. Was Space Quest 1 as God intended. Yeah, see, the acronym is AGI. See what I did there? So which one's, there it is. So the idea was to basically remake Space Quest 1, but give it a spin, as in, I've been here before, haven't I? Oh, something is wrong with this kind of thing. The reason why I dropped it, I think, is because, you'll see. Aspect ratio. Because when you export stuff, this is running in 320 by 200. Or a little less than that, actually, because when you export stuff from WinAGI, which is what I did, I just exported the game's graphics from WinAGI, they come out in a resolution that's a little, not as, a little less tall than 320 by 200. It's because they, would have room for the parser at the bottom and stuff like that. So it's the same height as whatever WinAGI spits out. There's one thing. Second of all, WinAGI doesn't spit out aspect correct graphics because the graphics are not aspect correct in the resource files. The graphics, that was something your CRT monitor would do. There's a whole discussion about if you're playing 320 by 200 games and you don't have aspect ratio correction, then it's going to look stretched. And the only way, I read a blog post about this, the only way to actually get pixel perfect, aspect correct 320 by 200 games is to bump the resolution up to 1600 by 1200, which is an awfully big resolution for an AGI game, I think you'll agree. So anyway, this was just me fucking around. As you can see, we've got a mouse cursor, but it's the same mouse cursor as the mouse cursor in the Atari ST version of Space Quest 1. So this is not entirely out of the realm of what AGI could do. You will however see that the interface is not what you would expect. Anyway, as with the start of the Space Quest series, we are awakened by the sound of it. Fucking Christ. That was loud. Anyway, we bumped our head. I recorded the sounds from the original Space Quest game, and as you can tell, they're quite fucking loud. Anyway, it's immediately clear to you that something is not quite right here. Everything looks a bit off somehow. You vow with uncharacteristic determination to find out what it is. And now we're in the game. Again, we've got keyboard controls. You can WASD, and did you see that? You can actually mouse over, and you suddenly have a hotspot highlighter. And when you click le mouse, you get the parser. So instead of having to type in open door or look door or kick door, all you have to do is you click on the actual thing you want to interact with, and all you do is just input the verb you want to do. Again, kind of like what Lisa Suit Larry 7 did, except you have no predefined verbs. And this is something I was actually not inspired by Lisa Suit Larry for this one, or at least Suit Larry 7 for this one. I was actually inspired by something I did in QBasic back when I was 14 or 15 years old or something like that. I wanted to write a text adventure, but I could only write in QBasic, so I couldn't like code a proper parser. So my workaround for that was to do sort of hybrid point and click and a parser thing. So I would, in that QBasic adventure game, I would give you like your regular list of look at, talk to, open, use, whatever. So 1 through 5 on your keyboard would be your verb, and then it would pop up a little, type in what is it you want to do to. No, it was basically a reverse of this. So you click 1, or you press 1 for look at, and then you type in what it is you want to look at. Is it console? Is it door? Is it whatever? Which meant that inside the QBasic code, I would only have to code in as many synonyms for the objects in the scene. And I still hit the QBasic file size limit. So whatever. This works the other way around. So you click on the thing you want to do something to, and you type in the verb, which is how Lisa Suit Larry 7 works as well. Anyway, so that's how you do. You can also walk him around with the mouse cursor, because you could do that in the Atari ST version, so why not? And yes, I believe you can fuck the door. Please, have some decorum. Let's open this door. Oh, the door is just proximity triggered. Just walk near it and observe the magic. I can't remember if I did I do inventory for this one? Yes, right click brings up the inventory. Oh shit, yeah. Oh, I had tons of fun with this one. And by tons of fun, I mean, this was a pain in the ass. So as you can see, we start out with a bunch of inventory items because I had to test this. Oh, I was just having a look at the chat now. When I was in Basic, my buddies and I did a very simple text adventure using Basic on a Trash 80 Model 2 in high school. How'd you code the parser then? Because all I could do back then was if then else. And so that's... Oh, when you're in high school. But all I could do was if then else. And it's still all I can do is if then else. So it was all if then statements. Fucking Christ. That must have been a big pile of spaghetti. All right. Anyway, you start out with a bunch of inventory items because I wanted to test out stuff. What happens if you have a bunch of inventory items? What happens is when you click on an item, boom, you get this circus over here, and you can examine them and you can deselect. Because again, what you do is now you arm or you equip an inventory item. So if I click use now, you are now holding this. I went through a bunch of different ideas for what I was going to do. At one point, you had a big bar along the top here, same as the same as the bar at the bottom there, that said you are now holding the bucket. Sorry, but then the whole thing just went fucking cramped as well. It was quite linear. Do I have any not close enough messages? Nope, but I will. There's sort of a not close enough. If I de-equip this one, this elevator door here, open. You can't interact with the elevator from up here. So that's kind of... All right, so the inventory. So this is actually inspired by the the Macintosh version of Space Quest 1, you know, the black and white, I say black and white, the one with all the drop-down menus and shit, the inventory window in those AGI games, those Macintosh, was actually quite clever. Like, you had the whole description of the item you clicked on. Obviously, I don't have that. You have to click examine, but, you know, we should crowdfund a purchase of book on design patterns. What, for me or for, I don't get it. Anyway, so the reason I wanted to do this is you got your little mess out here, but if you have something that's a container, like the survival kit here, click on that, you have to get a third one. You want to be able to do something to the inventory item, because if you just click use, now you've just equipped it. Oh, it's got a transparent background as well. I didn't even notice that. So you want to have an option to do something to it. So now I can open it. Boom. Now I get the water bottle and the army knife, and the water bottle has something on it you can read. Again, this is taken from the actual design patterns for me. Thanks, I guess. I'm not entirely sure what the joke here is, but sounds nice. Anyway, all the text here is just taken from Space Quest 1. This is actually Pelvitron's dehydrated water. It's actually from the game itself. Directions to use: simply drink from nozzle. Again, you know this. How do I get out of this shit? There you go. All right, let's just move somewhere else. WASD movement in an adventure game. Oh, now things have changed. Wait. This doesn't feel right. All right, so now the Akata looks a bit different, doesn't it? Oh, shit. What is this now? And this is basically as far as I got. I drew these 3 screens, and you're supposed to be able to do something with this sign, but I don't think there's no messages for it. So the idea was, you've woken up, it looks like Space Quest 1, but shit's all out of whack, and now the ship is a lot more labyrinthine, and there's a lot more stuff going on. You can't go through the elevators at the moment. So it's basically, the Akata has turned into a big maze. And I think in the back of my head, again, this was kind of intended as a shit post, like a troll game. Like, here guys, play Space Quest 1 as God intended. I've remade Space Quest 1 in all my glory. Here, have a look. And then you'd start the game, you come out of the broom closet and you go, wait, this looks familiar. Because the first screen is exactly like the original game. And then you go into the next room and you go, hey, oh, wait a minute. And then, the shit post unfurls. And you start throwing all kinds of weird curveballs at the player. I think at one point I was going to have, like, you walk into a room and the room is like cut in half and there's just space at the other end and stuff. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, this is, again, one of those things where I coded in an interface that I was quite happy with. Again, this interface could be fun. I'll fuck the door. And also the inventory interface took a long time. It was very satisfying when that was all over with and it actually works. And now that I've actually got it working, I don't know what to do with it. So that's Space Quest 1 as God intended. Again, if someone wants to work on this with me, I'd be happy to just post the source code. People can just go nuts and do whatever they want with it. Same goes with every other game I've shown here, because I'm never finish them. Oh, I used to program stuff in BASIC in high school, and I was fairly good at it. See, I used to program a lot of stuff in BASIC in high school as well, and it was fairly not good at it. Again, it's a lot of if then else stuff. It's like my slight saving grace was I had some creativity, but it wasn't good. Like I think I've told this story before. The game I was talking about earlier, the one with the verbs and then you type in what it is you want. You type in the noun, that workaround for not having an actual parser. That game was actually a Space Quest fan game, and I completed it. Like I said, I hit the space limit for QBasic. I think it was like, what is it, 88 kilobytes or something. Like you can't have a game that's bigger than 80 something kilobytes. So I hit that limit, So I basically had to start a new, like part one and part two, basically. So once you finish part one, start part two. Please don't start part two unless you finished part one, that sort of thing. So I wrote the whole thing, part one and part two, and then I accidentally, because again, I was 14 or 15 years old and a complete idiot, I accidentally saved part two over part one. So now I just had part two of a game and part one did not exist anymore. So, oh, hi, Adventurer with a 3. Space Quest 1 was my first adventure game and still one of my favorites. Well, glad to have you here, man. Oh, ad breaks on fuck Twitch. Fuck ad breaks. Fuck you. If I could do ad free, I would. I can't because that's not how. If you tell Twitch I don't want to run any ad breaks, then it just does it on its own. You can't just get rid of it. You can't just run an ad free stream. Sorry about that. Yeah, I probably have no skills in programming or making a concise story. No, but I mean, you'd have the programming template, so to speak. So all you had to do is like draw graphics and write weird shit. Technically, okay. Let's move on from. Let's see here. Let's move on from. Space Quest. I've only got 2 games left to show you. Maybe 3. I don't know if this will work. I'm gonna see if this works. This is one of the oldest ones. This is back from like 2017. I think it's 2020. What we got here? 2017 is the earliest, apparently. So yeah, that would be a very. So I don't know what's gonna happen if I launch this. Nothing apparently. Oh dear. Oh, you can't see that. That's oh. Oh dear. Yeah, this is not gonna work. You didn't see that, but it just vomited up a bunch of errors. I don't know what any of this shit means. Anyway, this was supposed to be one of those. See, this is not supposed to. This is not supposed to be there. Oh my god, what the fuck? What stuff is just happening on its own. This used to be a sort of choose your own adventure game. So one of the things I wanted to do was make a game that had a bunch of paths and a bunch of different endings. It was basically just a guy wakes up one day and realizes that half of the planet are robots in disguise, and there's a solar flare on its way that'll strike later today and will murder like half the planet, including him. Or maybe not him. Who knows? And there's like a bunch of different paths, different endings, and this is obviously not one of the versions that actually works, because at some point I realized there's no gameplay in this. It's basically just a visual novel with with some choices along the way, and like the back half of it, again, it's a fairly short game, but the back half of it was just like 1 or 2 dialogue choices, maybe, or not even dialogue choices, path choices, and then the rest was just on fucking autopilot. So I was like, this is not really a game. So I went back and tried to actually like make this sort of first-person navigation thing where you actually did something and try to put puzzles in it, and it just does no. So this is apparently the version where I tried to do puzzles or do something. Can I start this outside of this? Or is this like completely broken? This is completely broken. Yeah. What a shame. I could go and dig up an older version of this without that isn't completely broken. But yeah, I'm not going to do that. Anyway. Excuse me. Basically, it was a choose your own adventure kind of thing. Let's move on to Doom. One idea I had for a very long time ago was to make Doom the point and click game. And again, this is one of those things where I got as far as doing all the prep work, there's a UI. There's a first screen you can walk into. The rooms are. I was going to construct the backgrounds in as like Doom levels and just take screenshots of them, like 2D screenshots of actual Doom levels, and like make my own Doom levels so I could have all this stuff. And they did Doom the RPG, yeah, but they didn't do the point and click interface, now did they? I even found someone who'd drawn like portraits of the monsters, and asked him if I could use those portraits as speech portraits in the game, and he said sure. So, but then again, never really got far enough into it to do something with it. So here we go. That's oh, that window is very small, isn't it? But I mean, you can tell what's going on, right? So you've got your little guy here. That is the walking sprite from Doom. I mean, that is how he walks. He walks like he has a limp. And you've got your lookout, airlock door, got your use. Where's he going? Oh, he just trotted back to the door when I clicked use on it. Talk, it doesn't talk. Here's a lengthy oh, this is me testing whether this text box can hold all this text that I want to put in it. And we've got an inventory. Here's a red key card. And this is it. That's basically the prototype. And so you could, and you got your save and load out here that do nothing currently, but oh, and one thing I'm really proud of, I just noticed, obviously right mouse button cycles through the icons, as you can see, they're changing color, but middle mouse button changes back to walk and then back to last selected verb, Sierra style. I wish more games would do that, because I see a lot of games that have like icon selection and you have to right click to get to the one you want. But then when you just want to walk somewhere, you can't just middle click and go straight back to walk and then middle click and go straight back to where you were. That's like, it's one of those, once you've played SCI games, once you've played Sierra games and you know that shortcut, once it does not become available, but you know, it looks like an SCI interface, but you can't do the middle mouse button thing. It's suddenly you miss it very much. So anyone who does anything that remotely looks like a Sierra style interface, you know, with your icons and you can cycle through the icons, please do the middle mouse thing. It is very easy to implement, and it makes a lot of difference, at least to me. Adventure, quick question. What do you think of mobile games, like making an adventure game for mobile devices? Go for it. Touchscreens make excellent adventure game. I've got ScumVM on my Android phone. I have no mouth and I'm a scream had a full like official release on Android and iOS. Fran Bow had an Android and iOS release. Yeah, adventure games on mobile devices. Sure, you need some caveats though. I mean, you need hotspot highlighters, especially on phones, is a very good idea because it is very easy to miss. You know, stuff. But hey, I can play Space Quest 4 on my phone through ScumVM, and that's fucking awesome. So some of the typing games are a bit weird. I mean, I don't think I'd like to play Space Quest 2 on my phone. I don't want to play a parser game on my phone, but I could. So anyway, that's Doom the adventure game. Now I've saved the best for last. Oh yeah, you also need mousepad mode. Another thing about using because you've got a mouse cursor that you need to move around. Now some games that are built for phones, they have, you know, the thing where you can just tap stuff. It's very obvious where you need to tap to do stuff. But if you're using ScumVM and playing games that were built for mouse, you can actually switch between, does tapping the screen act as a mouse click, or does tapping the screen just means move the little cursor around? You'll work it out. ScumVM on Android, amazing. All right, so we're coming up on the end. I've saved the quote-unquote best for last, which is a project that was in development for, I say development. It was a project that was being worked on very intensely and very enthusiastically for a while, and then all of a sudden it wasn't because I got distracted. It's Space Quest in Doom. There's like a reimagination of Space Quest 1, the Sarin Encounter, as a Doom game, as a first-person shooter in Doom. And big up to GameDev, an old friend of mine who's on the SQH Discord. He did this just for shits and giggles, really, but he basically took all the textures from the entire game and made Doom textures out of it. So these are all the Arcada textures, but he took the entire game, the entire Space Quest 1, and made textures out of them, so you could use them in Doom. And I'll show you I only built one Doom level with I was trying to like make the first, Arcada. Oh, hi Satan. Big fan of your work. Yes. Satan and I were at the Ninja Sex Party, did a gig here in Copenhagen a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. And we had a great time. Hung out with Danny for a bit. It was great. Still got the t-shirt and the lanyard and all that stuff. That was fun. So good to see you. What was I doing? Yes, Space Quest. Doom. Space Quest. So I was a little unsure because I tried to get this to work earlier, and I really had to jump through a fair few hoops, but I think I got it working now. At least it was working earlier when I tested it. So let's see. I drag this into this, and then play game, and then I just hope shit works. Yep, here we are. Now, obviously, we didn't replace, or I didn't replace a lot of stuff. So I'm just gonna IDDQD this, because the monsters are... Can I full screen this? Yeah, I can. Oh. There we go. Right, so the monsters... The whole idea with this thing was we would rebuild Space Quest as a Doom game. We would essentially take monsters and weapons and stuff would be the Doom weapons and monsters. They would just be reskinned as a Space Quest monster. So basically, the grunt zombiemans and the zombie shotgunners would be Sarian guards, and the pinky demons would be spider droids, Sarian spider droids, because they'd run up to you and instead of biting you, they would explode. And we'd have like little tiny spider droids that would run up and eat you and stuff like that. And shit, what else did we have? We had a bunch of brilliant ideas. One of the hurting floor textures, like lava floor textures, would actually be a grate. So you'd have the little grate monster from the Coronian underground. That Roger has to hug the wall and move past him. So we'd actually have the great monster would be a hurt texture, basically. So the animation would be like the little tentacle coming up and down instead of lava moving, stuff like that. Fun times. But this is as far as I got, and I built this level, and I was like, I posted it on my Discord, and I was like, yeah, do you know what? I'm actually not happy about this because it strays too far from the original and blah blah. Don't worry, kids. I'll give it some more thought, and then I never did. And there were a couple of people who was like, well, why don't you just find some level designers? And I was like, yeah, that would be great. No one really stepped up. So now we've got the texture pack, and we've got the what is it? Chainsaw the characters of Space Quest 2 and 6. Fuck those games. Hey, you do you, my friend. That is, I will not dignify that with an answer. Oh, also, you start out with no weapon. See, we only got the fist. And punching actually somehow alerts them to my presence. I always thought that was funny in Doom. Obviously, we have no dead Sarians. We do have shooting Sarians. But once they die, they turn into zombie men. Also, look at the fucking pistol. Look at the bounce on this guy, too. As far as I know, this leads nowhere. Oh. Oh, this leads here. Why, hello there. Obviously, the sounds are not... not to be replaced later, I suppose. Yeah, you've got the expanse of space here. And... oh, and this guy over here. This guy's our shotgunner, I believe. Yep. And that just turns into a fucking shotgun, because the only thing we got is the pistol so far. I like all of those Space Quest games. I think 2 is very much underrated, and this is not the time nor the place to get into that discussion, but yeah. Anyway, let's crack on. Hello! I've always wanted to blast Sarians like this, which is why I thought this was a great idea. So if anyone wants, here's the thing, right? So if anyone wants to make levels for this, fucking let's do it. Let's revive this thing. I just don't have the time to do it myself. But I wanted to do the whole thing, like after a few levels on the Arcata, you go to Corona. There's a desert. Instead of just one spider droid, you've got several. You've got Sarians sound like imps. Yeah, you've got what else? What else did we have planned? We had like a bunch of ideas. So the skeletal ridge would be like a bit of platforming, or a bit like you know, that Doom level that everyone hates, the one with the precarious walkways kind of thing. So if you fall off the edge, oh boy, you're gonna get swarmed or something. And obviously after the top of Corona, you go into the underground, but there's like acid drops, you know, hurdy floors, great monsters, all that shit. And then you get to Yulin's Flats, and we were like, how do you make Yulin's Flats exciting? Because basically all you do is walk around. And we were like, well, there's the mugger, and maybe the Sarians followed you there. Maybe there's some ruffians at Yulin's Flats that you have to avoid, and you have to steal the ship and whatnot. Could be fun. And then, of course, you blast off to the Deltor, and that's just, you know, even the original game has a blast your way through this part of the story. So Space Quest would lend itself to an FPS if you think about it. If you just get a little creative with the middle bit, it would be perfectly. I mean, I don't know how we would have done the skimmer thing. I was thinking just fucking skip it, because how do you do the skimmer thing? But I mean, I would love to see this thing actually happen. I just don't have the time to do it myself, but I would love to. If someone wants to poke at this, I've got the files. This is probably not... Also, my aim is terrible because I'm playing with this shitty little wireless mouse here. This is a teeny tiny little one. It barely fits in my hand. Look at that. Or it barely... my hand barely fits around. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's a very tiny mouse. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. I'm just very amazed I ever put this shit together. Oh yeah! That is a Keiko demon. The fucking the roaming android from the from the Deltor. So what's this? Needs a storage. Just shooting things for no reason can get old. See, that's the thing. You can just have the Space Quest 1 story. You don't have to change much. All you do is like expand on the levels, the locales, and the stories. The story is the same. Roger wakes up on the Arcata, has to escape, lands in Yulin's Flats, goes underground, escapes the underground, gets to Yulin's... What the fuck was I saying? No, gets to Corona, goes underground, escapes, goes to Yulin's Flats, steals his ship, goes to the Deltor, boom, bang. How is the Space Quest IP? Can anyone make a Space Quest game, or does someone need to get permission from the original studio? Tricky. Spacecraft IP used to belong to Activision, now technically belongs to Activision and Microsoft, I believe. And if you tell anyone you're doing a Space Quest fan game, they will cease and desist you. If you make a Space Quest fan game and release it, and only tell people after it's done, then they can't really do much because the internet never forgets. And they will not prosecute you. At least they have not prosecuted anyone that's made a Space Quest fan game, and there have been a fair few of those. But very famously, there was a fan project way back when Space Quest 7 was cancelled. There was a fan project for Space Quest 7, the fan game, and they made the mistake of asking Activision if they could do a semi-official remake. They had Josh Mandel as the designer and everything. And Activision said, yeah, sure, if you guys will work for free and we can sell the game, sure, you can do that. And everyone was like, no. So Activision, and then there was like, well, then you can't do it. You never should have told us. Can't remember what I'm supposed to do here. There's some clever... Where is that dude? There he is. So basically, if you make a fan game, make it, and don't tell anyone. Oh, this... Hey, we can get armor for no reason. You're supposed to do something with... What the fuck was that? Did something just... Oh, what? Oh boy. That's odd. Does anyone see the floating shooting AGI hand? But listen, hey, and don't charge money for fan games or of anything of the sort. But we've had some great Space Quest fan games over the years. They've been absolutely terrific, and I mean, once they're out in the world, they don't really seem to care that much. They know they can't take down a free fan game. So once it's out there, they just sort of go, oh, fuck, another one. Got past it, if they even know. And honestly, they don't seem to really care about the IP that much. Activision certainly didn't, and I don't think Microsoft does either. They don't really care much about it. They're just like, can we make money off it? Yeah. I think this is supposed to be one of the dead corpses. But I'm not sure what the fuck happened there. There's a switch somewhere I'm supposed to flip. Is that it? Is that it? I forget. This one requires a keycard, and I know you can actually finish this level. At least I think you can. This is a switch, but it'll only operate when I do something else, and I can't remember what it is. I think you go up here. Oh, yeah, there's something behind this door. This thing fucking hisses at you. Damn. Wait, is someone behind me? No. There we go. That lowers that. Hello? Anybody home? And that lowers that. And this does... Oh, that just brings up the elevator. But can I get in here now, please? Shit. Maybe you can't finish this level. I can't. There's a super shotgun up there and everything. I must have tested this area. How the fuck do I get in there? That's the door down there. That door is supposed to open. Did I pick up a keycard? Oh, good to see you, Satan. Again, keep up the good work. Did I picked up a keyboard, but it was the wrong color, wasn't it? All right, let's go back. Let's see. Still not that one. That's a red card. You can't remember. It's my own fucking level. This was done so many years ago. I'm certain I picked up a key card here. I don't know what that did for me. Maybe I accidentally put in the wrong key card. Like when I was building the level, I accidentally put in the wrong key card. That sounds like something I'd do. None of this shit does anything, right? No. Yeah, none of these computers are supposed to do anything. This is how you make adventure games. Yes, we've moved on. This is the new canon of adventure games. I'm tempted to open this up in a level editor and just see what it is I'm actually supposed to do. But first of all, I'll just no clip through. Oh, hi guys. You guys need to shut up, by the way. Yeah, I'll just go down here and no clip. Let's see. Boop-a-doop-a-doop. Hello. Can anyone tell me how to actually get through this door? I forgot. Oh, no. I'm almost certain there is a way to do it. Legit. And I've just forgotten how to do it. Oh yeah, the shotgunner guy's corpse or something is a the sprite has gone wonky. Alright, and here you're supposed to do okay. Oh, red card. So clearly I did not finish this level. Clearly there is something still missing. Oh, anyway, this was an idea, wasn't it? Roger Will goes back and he's pissed. Do you know what? I actually had, okay, so no joke, I actually had an idea which I was completely incapable of realizing on my own, which was to use Doom as an adventure game engine. Because I've seen Doom mods do stuff like, yeah, I mean, like Strife has a dialogue tree and all that. We know that, but my idea was instead of weapons, you had verbs. So the pistol would be look at. So the shotgun would be use, and you know the minigun would be talk to, and stuff like that. So you'd instead of shooting, you would be firing verbs at things. So you know you can see an elevator, look at. And you pop up a text box. And you use elevator. You're not close enough. Or stuff like that. But no, actually not you're not close enough. Basically, you shoot your verbs at stuff in the world, and you know stuff will happen. Like you can have this sort of telekinetic protagonist who can move things with his mind, but you know if he activates a door from across the room, he'll have to run for it. Stuff like that. I see Fuck Generic Shooters is writing a whole fucking design document in here. Sierra themed Doom mod. A guy working for Sludge Warhol traveling through time to kill various characters from the games, but to keep the heroes alive, copy their imaginations and puzzle solving skills so Sludge Warhol can integrate them into his preserved brain in Space Quest 12 and use them to kill Roger Wilco, all with jokes and references. Yeah. Sounds good. Go for it. Oh, you might be interested in checking out Acryl's series called Adventure All in the Game. which I think there's like 2 or 3 games in the series, and it's basically all your Sierra characters have a secret club somewhere where they all meet up, and also something time traveling protagonist, series jumping protagonist, something. She's got a whole series of that. All right, is there actually a way to finish this? I just want to see. Can I no clip up this mountain here? Whoop, we're up. So the switch in there operated this elevator. And I'm pretty sure this is an elevator and the exit is up there somewhere. I was wrong. Wow. Oh, wait, there's a switch up here. What the fuck did that do? Oh. Oh, the level isn't over. All right, there's supposed to be like creatures and shit inside these cages. Because it's a science vessel, you know? And then there's that was the data cart. This is supposed to be the data cart room. So this was the, you know, with the self-destruct code and all that shit on it. And this was supposed to open. I can't remember how you do it. Oh, maybe this switch. Yeah, that'll do it. All right, so now we're in here. I still have no idea how to actually open the door. This door. Do I just shoot that? No, I don't. There is some way to open this that I can't remember how to do. Anyway, now we've got the red key card. I'll shove that in there. And that's the end of the level. There you go. Yes, this is Doom the Sarin encounter. That was the idea anyway. Shut the fuck up. 97 kills in my own Space Quest level. Anyway, that was an idea. That's all we got. But mother of God. All right, I'm gonna do something disgusting again. God damn it, that is disgusting. Anyway, that's basically all I had for you. So, is there anything else? I had one, which was it was an Adventure Jam game, but I was kind of on the fence of whether to show it or not, because again, it was one of those games that it did use some AI, but I had a good reason for it. Not that there is no good reason for using AI, but there was a reason why we used AI, and that was because it was... Let's see if I can pull it up here. This is like a bonus. I wasn't actually going to show this one, but I might as well. Where are you? Are you on this drive down here? Wake up, bitch disk. I did not name this drive, by the way. Bitch disk is actually my wife's hard drive. It just happens to be connected to my computer, but that's her bitch disk. Spud Quest. So we had I was actually going to make the graphics for this game in the Cray engine. I used to work for a company called Cray, C-R-E-Y, and it was sort of like a Roblox-ish clone. You could build your own games inside this platform, and the level editor was actually really, really good. And they used these low poly, what are they called? Synthy presets to build all the shit. So you could I built some fun things in that thing, and we were gonna make all the backgrounds and shit in that, but like literally the day the jam started, the whole company went to absolute shit, shut down, and went bankrupt, and the entire engine went offline. So I built the first location in the game inside this engine. We were just gonna take screenshots, you know, and use that in the game. So I built the whole thing. I even had an animation, because the game starts with the protagonist's house collapses or explodes for no reason. Just no reason whatsoever. It just goes boom. That's the start of the game. And I built that, had the whole animation of the game, you know, of the house exploding and you know, physics objects going everywhere. That was like an FMV. And then that would be the first screen of the game and all this shit. And And then we couldn't build the rest of the game or the rest of the backgrounds and that. So I took to trying to create a prototype using AI generated backgrounds. Obviously, bad idea, but yeah, fuck it. Let's see if it actually works. Because there's some fun. There's one or two fun jokes or things that would have been funny once we'd replaced them with non-AI stuff. I have a feeling today is going to be a good day. Imagine that, but in 3D. I would have killed. I mean, it looked. I mean, this low poly house that just completely fell apart. It looked so good. Do I have that somewhere? Do I have that video file somewhere? Holy shit, this takes forever. I don't have mouse control. And again, possibly not. Alright, so we had spud missile. How did that even happen? Then you try to go for a drive. In this case, it's time to pack up and seek my fortune somewhere else. It really is going to be one of those days, isn't it? And then you get this fucking abomination, which is Rita the Turnip or whatever the fuck it was. And she will offer to help you fix your car. And that's Frosty. He's a cake. And again, this is all AI garbage. Would have looked so much better in the low poly 3D we were making. Hi, Frosty. And here is the Spud dialogue. Tex Murphy style. I wanted to do a Tex Murphy style conversation tree, and this was the first attempt I had at it, and it's kind of worked. So I was very happy about that. But we had a whole design document. Actually, Torpedo Bear wrote the design document for this, but because again, this was going to be an Adventure Jam game, but that big snag with us being unable to actually do the graphics, because again, graphics is like the one thing I can never do. Obviously, I'm never ever going to... Oh yeah, that's the Spud Venturi. The test item here. The Spud Venturi never really worked the way I wanted it to. Which is a shame. Can I find the... graphics has always been my weak point, and I can never do graphics, so I always look for some sort of like workaround. Is it in here, or is this... This is all when I sort of started over again. Wait, effects. I remember seeing the... Oh, this is the explosion. I remember seeing that video file at some point. It exists somewhere. Oh shit, maybe it only existed as a forum post or something like that. That's a shame. It looked fun. Anyway, I had a whole fucking level. It was like literally the day that that the jam started. Well, it must have been day 2 then, because I built the whole thing on day 1, and then day 2 when we started actually making the game, the whole thing went offline. The company went bankrupt, and they took the whole thing offline, and that was it. Is there an embargo on the GB AGI thing? I'm just seeing that right now. Not really, I don't suppose. You're talking about the talkie version of Space Quest 1 and 2, or at least 2. Yeah, someone figured out how to inject voice files in the GB AGI interpreter, the Game Boy Advance interpreter for AGI games. Someone figured out how to do that. So now we're looking at maybe doing like a talkie version of Space Quest 2 for the Game Boy Advance. Like all the voice files will be compressed to shit, which is somehow very apt in a way. I don't know. Yeah. So that's going on the SQH Discord at the moment. we had a whole fan dub of Space Quest 5 going at some point. I still have all the voice files that people send in. We just have not cracked the getting Space Quest 5 to actually do voices, because the thing is we're going to use ScumVM Milo, which is a fork of ScumVM. I have it here, which allows you to inject graphics and sound and even FMV clips and stuff into SCI games. It's basically a tool that runs on Magic, but we got like we again, this is one of those things where we just kicked off the project. We had this, all right, we're gonna do a great Space Quest 5 fan dub. Everyone always said they wanted Space Quest 5 with voices. We're gonna do it. The fan community is gonna get together and do it, and we're gonna use this ScumVM fork to do it because we can inject voice files into that. Because Space Quest 5 runs on SCI, but there are many different versions of SCI, and the version of SCI that Space Quest 5 runs in is not built for voice. Like there's no code in the original game for voices. I know, you'd look at like Space Quest 4, Space Quest 5, same engine. Why can't you just inject voices into Space Quest 5? The code is not in Space Quest 5. It does not support voices. So you would have to hack Space Quest 5 in order to do it. Now, there was a guy who actually did it. And he put out, I don't know if you've seen this, he put out Space Quest 5, the talkie version. He had the whole thing fucking voiced. It ran in DOS. And he used AI voices, and he used like an AI impersonation of Gary Owens for all the narrator dialogue, and he had AIs voice the whole thing, and he got fucking run out with pitchforks. But the dude basically took his work and just disappeared and locked the door and never took any calls. Which a bit of an overreaction, I feel. Now, should he have used AI voices and dig up dead Gary Owens and parade him in front of a microphone? No. Should never have used AI. What he perhaps should have done is ask the community, I've got this technology. I can make Space Quest 5 talk. Does anyone want to do a fan dub of it? And we could have raised our hands and said, yeah, we're actually doing one right now. But what happened with this fork, the ScumVM fork, and why the Space Quest 5 fan dub of ours stalled, is because the author of this thing, the fork, took this thing off of GitHub and disappeared, and basically told us, don't show this to anyone anymore. He said something like, I'm afraid of getting sued by Activision and Microsoft if they find out that I've made a fork of ScumVM that will inject new stuff into their games, and I told him, like, why are you afraid of that? You're not committing piracy or anything of the sort. You're not even altering existing game files. What you do is you put MP3s and JPEGs and stuff into a new folder, and you just point ScumVM to that folder, and it replaces assets in the SA games. And I was like, that's not even changing existing code or assets or anything. But he was adamant. He was like, nope, I'm leaving. I'm taking it out. Don't pass this around. So I'm not going to. And yeah, there's plenty of voice. Like I said, we had what does your fan dub narrator for Space Quest 5 sound like? I will show you because I have it right here. Where the fuck did I put it? I had it like literally a moment ago. Yep, SQ5 dub. Extras, unzips. Here we go. Narrator lines by Timid Dolphin. He voiced the entire game. These are all the narrator lines in the entire game. Let's just pick one at random.
This is Drool, your navigation and weapons officer. A field of asteroids is visible through the view screen. StarCon Standard Issue Edumatic Advanced Student Learning Station with active matrix configurable input display. Yes! 100% correct on the SAT! This patrol craft was damaged in a skirmish with smugglers on the rim of the galaxy and is currently undergoing a major overhaul. Fortunately, it suffered less damage than the ship Roger tried to place in hyperspace before leaving space dock.
And what I loved about this dude is he's not trying to do Gary Owens. Like he did his own thing. I love that, because you cannot do Gary Owens. You can't, even the best imitation of Gary Owens is still going to be an imitation of Gary Owens. You can't do that. So this dude went his own way. Sounds like Robert Ross. I have no idea what that is, but yeah, that's why it's good. That's why it's good. He's doing his thing, and that's good. So we've got the entire, all the narrator lines are voiced, and we've got a couple of others. Like, again, the whole thing just stalled because the Scumvia Milo fork disappeared, and the dude who did the AI dub of Space Quest 5, like I said, he somehow hacked the thing. Made the original game run in DOS with voices. We have no idea how he did it, because he took off and locked the door because he got run out of town, pitchforks and everything. We've been trying to get a hold of him, can't do it. So the whole thing just stalled. So we had a few, like, back when the whole thing was still brewing and we were all very excited. We got like this dude to voice the narrator. We got Taco Adventure did Drool. And Jomsy did Captain Quirk. Fucking Jomsy did an excellent Captain Quirk. Listen to this.
Wilco, you malingering moron, get back to work. You buffoon. You can't even scrub a floor without a roadmap. It's obvious you're not Academy material. I thought I told you never to call me here. Meet me at the usual place and we'll discuss it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my ship. I wouldn't want to keep the ambassador waiting.
He's super smarm. I love that. I don't know if that's not loud enough for you, but you get the idea. So yeah, Space Quest 5 fandom was absolutely a thing until it wasn't. But someone was asking earlier, Ross, Game Grumps, I wouldn't know. See, okay. Side note, that's the thing, right? So yeah, I'm friends with Danny from Game Grumps, but when I met him, I had never watched Game Grumps in my life. I had no idea they were a big deal, because he wrote me, and I was and he was like, "Hi, I'm Danny. I'm part of a thing called the Game Grumps. I saw you doing a Space Quest podcast. Would you like is there anything I can do? Because I'm a big Space Quest fan." And I was like, "Hi, nice to meet you." I had no idea who the fuck he was, and it wasn't until like I told someone on my Discord, I think, and they went, "Holy shit, Dan messaged you?" And it's like, "Yeah, who is he?" So I have no idea. I don't know the history of Game Grumps. I'm not even sure exactly what it is they do. I mean, I've seen videos of them now, obviously, do Let's Plays and other weird shit. But it was just never, like, on my radar. I had no idea who they were. So I don't know who Russ is. But Space Quest 2, the GBA AGI of thing, yes, the Game Boy Advance talkie Space Quest 1 and 2. Which is an actual fucking thing. I just saw it earlier today, so I don't know much about it. The dude joined my Discord. Martin is his name. He joined my Discord. He's in the Nerd Central channel. I very much encourage you to go. If anyone wants an invite, I should just post a fucking invite. Invite to server. Here we go. I always forget to do this. I have a Discord, by the way. Here you go. So that's all going on, and I think this might actually be important. He is looking for someone to do the voices, because definitely let's not do an AI voice of Space Quest 1 and 2. We all saw how that went with Space Quest 5. Let's not do that again. We lost what is potentially one of the best geniuses of the SCI fandom. Because if you can hack together, like, there's a plethora of nerds. Dare I say a gaggle of nerds, possibly a murder of nerds on my Discord that have done magical things. This whole Game Boy Advance thing that was broken for like 10 years or so, someone, like a couple of people from my Discord, fixed it. Like it's like 10-year-old bugs. They just went, it's done, it's fixed. And this guy Martin has been carrying on that work. He's been forking their fixes into something new, and now it can do speech and all that stuff. People on my Discord have hacked old games, extracted assets, done multiple things. But the one thing we've been unable to, or I say they have been unable to do, is hack Space Quest 5 to play voice files. It's just, you would essentially, some of the best SCI minds have had a look at this thing, and they're like, basically you just have to take this thing apart and build it back up again. And who has time for that? But apparently one guy did, and he made the mistake of putting AI voices in it, just to show that he, instead of just asking, hey, I've got this thing built, it'll play voices, does anyone want to voice Space Quest 5? If he had asked that, a million nerds would have raised their hands and gone, me. Because when I was doing Space Quest 1, the movie, and I said, hey, voice actors, anyone want to voice a character in the Space Quest 1 movie? I had to beat people off with a stick. Everyone wanted a part in that thing. And it was magnificent. If he'd only done that, we would have a Space Quest 5 fandom right now. Oh. Oh, Typhon. Oh, yeah. The video with actually a few days. Satan, who was in the chat earlier, we went to Ninja Sex Party gig, and Twerp is their backing band. So we had Twerp was their warm up, and they were also the backing band for Ninja Sex Party. Great gig, lovely. I gave him a copy of Soup's On. It was fun. Does Space Quest 1 and 2 have female characters? Not really. They have let's say the computer on the Arcada might have a female voice. So when we did the movie Space Quest 1, we made the droids be us. The droids are us. Droids are us. Sales alien has a female voice in the movie. That's a Papaya Chemist. Good friend Papaya Chemist. Fuck, she does a brilliant one. She was going to be WD-40 in the Space Quest 5 fandub. Did you imagine Papaya Chemist doing WD-40? That would have been fucking amazing. She's still down if we ever get it to work. Shit, where was I going with that? Oh, female characters in Space Quest 1 and 2. See, that's the trouble. He's on his own. Roger's on his own for most of those games. He doesn't interact with anyone. Really, there's a bar patron, and a bartender, and a mugger at Yulin's Flats. There's the alien, the 4-armed alien that gives him the skimmer, and that's pretty much it. Really, he doesn't really talk to anyone else, does he? Kissy alien does not count. No. Aaron, Danny, and Ross have done voiceover work. Might be interested. Yeah, I don't know. Danny was in the Space Quest 1 movie. That I did. Yeah, he was the Xenon official at the end that gives Roger his mop. Roger Wilco, you're so fantastic and amazing. Here, have this golden mop. That was Danny in the Space Quest 1 movie. He did 3 takes of it. He did one in his regular voice, one in a movie style voice, and then he did a take that he called his silly voice. And we used the silly voice. Of course we did. So anyway, Space Quest 1 and 2. Does anyone want a voice? It's mostly narrator lines. Not a lot of female characters, unfortunately. I'm not going to be streaming in 30 minutes. Sorry, Typhon. I'm actually gonna hang up in a moment or so. But thanks for dropping in. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for dropping sideways. Thanks for not dropping dead, I suppose. I don't know where I'm going with this. This is just me rambling, isn't it? What else have I got? Space Quest 1 TXT. Oh no, that's just the TXT text mode. Space Quest 1. It doesn't work. I couldn't get it to work. Turbo Chimp Remake. I should play that sometime. I should play that on stream sometime, actually. SQ4's Gone Intended was a shitpost. It was me trying to remake Space Quest 4. So it might have had AI upscaled backgrounds. Yeah, that's an. Now this is not. It's not an AI generation. This is AI upscale. This is cup scale. But it still looks wonky as hell with modern eyes. I did manage to stitch together the. What I wanted to do actually was have the entire Xenon Street like be one big screen, like you could walk from one end, it wouldn't scroll. There wouldn't be like exits to the right and to the left here. It would all be like one big area you could walk around in. Obviously, the original backgrounds don't really work that way. Even though you walk to the left here and the screen scrolls to the left, they don't quite stitch together. At least that's not what I could do anyway. Hey, Adventure Game Hotspot. Does this even work if I launch this? I don't think it will. Oh, fucking Christ. Well, first of all, he does not appear to be in a walkable area. And second of all, oh, no, he is. That is brilliant, isn't it? This is indeed Space Quest 4 as God intended. I think the point of this was also we wanted to have it be a parser game, as was originally intended by the two guys from Andromeda. Because Space Quest 4 was supposed to be a parser game. There's that whole famous thing about they get called into Ken's office and he says, hey, we've got a new icon-driven interface. You guys are working on Space Quest 4. Would you like to use the icon interface or the parser interface? And Scott and Mark both say, parser. We're going to do a parser game. And Ken goes, okay. A couple of days pass and he calls him back into his office and said, you know what? We've decided you're going to use the icon interface. And they're like, but. And he's like, no. Has to be icon. That's why there's smell and taste icons in Space Quest 4. Because there's a bunch of the jokes they put in just went to the smell and taste icons instead. I think we're about done here, aren't we? Yeah. What is SQ4BF? I got like a shitload of Space Quest installs here. I got Space Quest 6 in French. Space Quest 4 in Japanese. New Rising Sun patch, EGA hack. What's the hack? Oh, that's Pickle Doc's hack, I think. What is BF? SQ4 BF. Now I'm curious. It appears to just be the CD-ROM version.
In the distance, not so fortunate buildings.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was supposed to be. All right, see you, Arcane. See everyone else. Yeah, I think we're about done here. Well, thanks for coming to my cavalcade of failures. Again, if any of this looked interesting to you, I'd be happy to share source code or whatever if you want to build a game. Like the Space Quest 1 as God intended game has some sort of promise and it's AGI graphics, so you could quite easily roll with that. And again, the whole framework is there of UI and inventory and all that sort of stuff. All you basically have to do is draw and program and write the rest of the game. How many people are watching on Twitch as opposed to use YouTube? I honestly don't know. Let's see here. 20 people are watching on YouTube and 18 people are watching on Twitch, according to the Restream dashboard. Which is interesting. I always thought it'd be majority Twitch and then maybe a handful of stragglers on YouTube. But see, this is why I use Restream. Fun story. I actually got affiliate status with Twitch long ass time ago. But one of the provisions, after I got affiliate status, one of the provisions I saw in their little terms of services was you're not allowed to co-stream to several platforms at once. This is no. You must stream to Twitch, and then 24 hours later you can upload it to somewhere else. But you cannot co-stream. That was in the terms of service. So I wrote back to Twitch and said, "Fuck the affiliate program. Take me off the affiliate program. I'd rather co-stream." And they never got back to me. So I'm still a Twitch affiliate. And I still co-stream, and it's been years and years, and they haven't done anything. So, fuck it. Cheers. So, for the AGS hacks, or the old tutorials, damn, those are out of date now. But, yeah, I'm glad. People still message me and said, I found your tutorial helpful. And I'm like, that means you're a better person than I am, because that's such an old version of AGS at this point. My nose is fucking running again. Ew. That's gross. But yeah, I'm glad. What was it? Phantom Fellas? The guy who did Phantom Fellas said that he started working on his game not because he watched my tutorial, but apparently my AGS tutorial helped him get started, which is just fucking bonkers. Because he actually, contrary to yours truly, he actually made a full game. Fancy that. Twitch walked it back with the co-stream. Oh, so that's why I'm still alive, I guess. All right, that makes sense. But anyway, I would have got, because who the fuck discovers me on Twitch? No one is. I don't have a stream schedule. I don't do any of the like stuff you're supposed to do on Twitch. I'm not a good streamer, so there's no reason for me to be an affiliate. Anyway, fuck it. Good times. And see you guys. Good night. Or morning. Or whatever time of day it is. Where you are. For me, it's night. Good night.